Hi there, everyone. I'm Brian K. Morris. That's what it says down there. And we're about to start Comic Book Spectrum. You've got 1 minute to prepare. We'll see you in a minute. Whether you're watching us live or on the reruns, we appreciate you. Come back in about a minute. We were ready to start.
Seconds.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
How dare you!
Welcome to Comic Book Spectrum, a Rising Tide Broadcast Network production. Get ready to explore the world of comics, past, present, and future, with our panelists Eric Hawkins, Brian Rodman, and Clyde Hall. And now here's your host, Brian K. Morris.
All right, everybody. Hello. Welcome to the Thursday, June 2nd, 2022 episode of Comic Book Spectrum. We've got some reviews of some great comics coming up, and we're probably going to talk about something, heaven knows what. We don't know where the rails are. We don't know what the subject's going to be, but we welcome your comments in the live chat. And if you're watching us on the rerun, leave us a comment down below, and we'll try to get back to you, okay? Because we love the interaction. But right now, we want to say thank you to our sponsors, one of whom is Rising Tide Publications. Keep an eye out for the terrors coming out later this summer. And also, we are brought to you by Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you.
You've worked hard and written a great book. Now, it's time to give it a great cover. If you're an indie author or small press publisher, Plasma Fire Graphics is your source for affordable cover illustration and graphic design. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you.
The only thing Plasma Fire Graphics can't do is make less than awesome art, and you deserve the very best for your book, your comic, what have you. You can also do the art you need to sell the work on social media, anything you need. Contact Jeffrey Hayes at plasmafiregraphics.com. Check out his selection of graphics, and he'll send back a card with his indie creator-friendly prices. That is Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you, because it definitely matters to your readers. And we also want to thank our Patreon subscribers for supporting this show and all of our endeavors. And if you want to see your name on this card and possibly in one of the pages of the terrors, then check out what we offer in return for your financial support at www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris. And now, without any further ado, not that we've been holding on to our due much, I'd like to bring in the rest of the crew tonight, and that is Jody McFee, Zombie Slayer Eric Hawkins, and Clyde Hall. Gentlemen, how are you?
Jazz hands happy.
Whee! Getting my Bob Fosse on, you betcha. Oh my God, yes. Yeah. And if you're happy and you know it. Anyway, folks, we're going to go around the room here and introduce ourselves. Let's start right down here in the first floor here. No. But anyway, and Brian Rodman is he's on a top secret mission that nobody needs to. Oh, damn it! I did it again. Anyway,
No, you
he's
did. You
not
did.
here.
You did do it. You kept it secret.
I kept it
He's
secret.
working on the Alvy suit part.
Oh, damn it! Anyway, no, and he is working on make sure that you contact him and say when is Nebulizer number 4 coming out, and get in on the ground floor as far as bothering him. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna start with Joe D. McFee and go around the room. Joe, introduce yourself. Tell everybody how awesome you are.
Actually, I'm beyond awesome. I'm beyond that concept of that. But I am Joe D. McFee. I am the president of the C2C Studios, the creator of Primetime Saturday Night, AWF, and currently on Kickstarter, Amazonia, where issue number 7 is being crowdfunded as of right now. We're right now, as far as crowdfunding goes, we're 100% funded at this point. We're still marching towards our second stretch goal, which is the C2E2 2019 variant for Amazonia number 1, which will be given to you for free if we hit $2,000 and that you're a physical backer of the book. As far as everything else, as far as the campaign is concerned, we got, I believe it's 18 more days left on that campaign, so it is worth your while to get in on the ground floor running. We're offering all 7 issues, so you're not just stuck with issue number 7. You could get the full run, know where, how it begins and where we're at right now. If you've been paying attention to my links and everything, I've been advertising, been showing different stuff dealing with the book, including hints about some of the characters that will be debuting in issue number 7, at least one of them so far here. Outside of that, you can catch me this Saturday from the Desk of a Small Press Publisher. It's right here on the Rising Tide Network, where we're going to be reviewing 4 more books that didn't quite make it to Comic Book Spectrum based upon your choices here. And those 4 books happen to be, if you are watching, Carriers issue number 4 and 5 from season number 1, and Lady Mechanica, the Ministry of Hell, the Monster Ministry of Hell, issues 3 and 4. Long title, confusing title, but we get it out there. But those 4 books will be reviewed in its entirety on this Saturday here. And without further ado, I'm going to toss it over to Eric S. Hawkins, who just successfully funded with Something for World of Oz, and he just got some brand new swag to kind of be hyped up about.
All right.
Yay!
Yeah, stuff is pouring in. You can see my poker chips from chiplab.com. This is the new one.
Ooh.
This is last campaign's, the green one. So I went with a different color scheme, of course, and so people can build their own sets. I also thought about toying around the idea. If people see me at a convention, if they bring it to me, maybe they'll get a free sketch. Maybe, probably not, but yeah, maybe. Also, trading cards have come in. Grab these. So they're looking cool.
Nice.
We went with the covers this time. So that's the cover of the new book that'll be coming out this fall, Zombieful Adventures. That was issue 2. No, issue 3.
Mm-hmm.
Issue 1. And issue 2. And issue 4 I did not pull out because I did. Yeah, I'll go ahead and pull it out. Where it is? No, it's right at the bottom. So I did one of the variant covers as the sketch card, and was the McFarlane pose of the Scarecrow. But hey, other than that, I'm a comic book creator. You can find me here every Thursday night reviewing comics that might suck. And then after that, I go right into another show where I draw for another 3 hours, where we have been doing some independent books that are crowdfunding. This week we didn't have anyone scheduled, so we're doing Cthulhu Bunnies.
Ooh,
Nice.
So it should be interesting. So
tentacle hairs.
No. I have to say, answering Jennifer's question. No, she can't bring me one of my poker chips and ask me to draw something.
yeah.
Now I have to hide the poker chips.
Hey, look, I've got 4,000 poker chips here. I need 4,000.
Yeah,
And they've
yeah,
all got to
yeah.
look like Spider-Man #1 by McFarlane.
Yeah, I won't be doing that again. I'm actually already working on covers for issue 5 and the story. Issue 5, one's going to have an original cover, and I am doing another variant cover of a rather popular zombie book. I don't know. I never thought of it before, so it should be cool when I'm done with it. That'll be coming out soon. So that's all I got. I mean, you can follow me on social media. Just look for me. You'll find me. And take it away, Clyde.
All right.
I'm awesome because I have an original Zombie for World of Oz poker chip. And with every series that comes out, these become much more collectible. I'm going to get mine signed when I see Eric again. But
And get those
We'll be at
sketches.
Heroes for Kids in July.
do what now?
I'll be at the Heroes for Kids Con in July.
I probably won't be. So, but not because you will be. Just things are not working. Things are not working out for our travel plans very well this year so far. So, but I'm Clyde Hall, and I am an independent author and a contributing writer at a plethora of places. And one of those places is Stormgate Press. But it isn't just any old place, because I have stories appearing in their award-winning anthology series there, Pulp Reality 1 and 2 and 3.
3 wonderful book.
And proud to be part of the Stormgate Press team at Pulp Reality. The Pulp Reality volumes 1, 2, and 3, with 4 coming out later this year, are available on Amazon. And you should also go to www.stormgatepress.com, and there you can see the full variety of publications that we have in the new pulp genre. It's primo stuff. And it has writers and artists like Charles F. Milhouse and Brian K. Morris, whoever that guy is, and Ted Davies and Candace Camilleri, Jeffrey Ray Hayes, John C. Brenning, Scott Donnelly, Stephen Burks, Clayton Merwin, Bobby Nash, Kelly Austin, and Many more. I do weekly comic book reviews also. Besides here on CBS, I do them on 2 online sites, doomrocket.com and comicsbookcase.com. And my review tonight, that started as a feature, not a review, just a feature for Comics Bookcase, and it's mutated into something different. It's a review here, and a new read selection that is way out of left field, but I'm considering it a change of pace before all the big company events of the summer kick into high gear. So stay tuned.
All right. Thank you, Clyde. And I'm Brian K. Morris, independent publisher, freelance hybrid author, and editor, award-winning writer. I am yay! Yes, I have to keep remembering that. I'm an award-winning writer and Facebook famous YouTuber and former mortician's assistant. Like Clyde, I do a lot of work for other people, including Stormgate Press. And be sure to check out their latest book, Major Marjorie, with stories by creator Tim Bruckner, Clyde Hall himself, Jim Beard, Alessia Kent, and myself, with a beautiful Jeffrey Hayes retro cover here that you almost own. Available now on Amazon. Also, this is the volume in which I won the award for.
Yay!
Yes, thank you. Snow Ambition is in this volume. It also is a standalone Kindle book for 99 cents. This is available from BobbyNash.com, Amazon, and BenBooks.com. So check it out. Find out why I get awards now. I'm as shocked as you are. But anyway, check my work out at risingtide.pub, as well as on Amazon and Smashwords. And with that, we got everybody taken care of and introduced and such. And we have comments. Boy, howdy do we have comments. And starting out,
back?
Yeah, really, yeah. For which we have much to answer for. And Donna Carlene is starting with us. Mwah, beat that Carl Witzman again. Didn't we go through this with Johnny and Amber? I mean, come on. Anyway,
Yay, Johnny! He doesn't take no crap.
That's right, by God. Hey, a little side here. I was reading an article this afternoon that there is a signature. There have been signatures to get Amber Heard replaced in the future Aquaman movies, and somebody has gotten 3 million signatures on
he has.
Yes, on a definite replacement. Eric has probably read this article too. Bruce Campbell has been put into the one. I'm sure he'll look lovely in that Yaya Han type fabric. But anyway, the fans want him in, and he went to Twitter this afternoon to set the record straight on it. And his reply was, "Send me a script." So we can rely on Bruce to hold the standard high. So anyway, Carl Winston says, I was beginning to worry that you got lost. Ha ha. And Teresa Dunn, good evening to you. Hope you're doing well. And Carl says hello, and so does Donna. And Teresa says hello back. And Carl says, I'm hoping for a nice, relaxing show tonight. Enough excitement and exercise for me today. Well, just hop on the treadmill, and you know that we'll be off in search of the rails any second now. That's just the way this damn show goes. And is Callie with you, Carl? Asked Donna. And nope, I'll go check on him, and found him, played laser with him. He's tired now. Maybe that's how Carl got tired. Maybe Donna was like using that little laser pointer and wore him out. And he was
rolling alcohol bottles around the floor, making him chase them.
Well, I shouldn't laugh. That would work on me too.
There goes the Kraken. Go get it, Carl.
There's Carl diving for it like he's trying to throw himself on top of a bomb.
He's got a rope on it.
And Carl's like, I feel like they know me so well. Anyway, only 1 minute to prepare. Oh no! And Jennifer Hawkins, hello to you, darling. Mwah. Hope you're having a great night. And Rick Bradley, mwah to you. Good evening, comic book lovers. Good evening to you. Check out R&D Gaming on Monday nights. Rick and his son Donovan do a fantastic job on that show. And even if you don't play video games, you're going to love watching it. It's a lot of fun. And Lissy is here. Hi, everyone. Hello, Lissy. Mwah. Glad to see you as always. And Carl says hello. So does Donna. And Jennifer Hawkins goes, what about if your wife brings you one? Can you draw for me?
Nope.
Okay, well, we got the answer from the
Wow.
That was pretty quick. Now, you see now, a lot of
you
customers
know my rates. You want to pay for my drawings. That goes grandkids too.
And right now she is now putting X-Lax shavings in Eric's pudding tonight. And so anyway, Parallax Spectre, it is great to see you here. Howdy, fellow comic bookians. Hello to you, Parallax. Always a pleasure to have you here. And same with Ted Davies Artistry. Good evening, superheroes. Good evening to you, my brother. Hope everyone watched Ted and Glenn B. Fleming this morning on Ted's show. Another great episode. And also check out Ted, 10 o'clock on
Comics
Tuesday.
Unlimited is what you was looking for.
Yes, it is. There's reasons why Bruce Willis is a favorite actor of mine. But anyway, it's another great show. Check him out on Tuesdays also, where I believe Ted was speaking to a major crowdfunder and writer artist in the comic field on Tuesday, if I remember correctly.
Who is he?
I can't remember names. I can't remember faces. It's just, other than that, I'm good. But anyway, somebody special.
I don't know what he could have been talking about, but
Hard
telling. It just is what it is. You never know. Ted had a lot of good creators on his show, so you never know.
That is true. He has. And you were one of them. So there we go. And Carl Witzman says hello to Spectre and to Ted. And wow, what a mean hubby.
Yep. We don't deny it.
Yeah, and Eric will be trying out later for the remake of the Clint Eastwood Man with No Name Western. So, and my favorite show, Ted's talking about his own stuff probably. And do you need pictures of Reese for the sketch tonight?
Reese is my granddaughter's and my daughter's pet bunny. I would say bunny, but it's bigger than my Yorkie poos.
Wow.
I mean, this thing is like, it's got to weigh 30, 40 pounds.
Ooh.
Eek.
He looks like good eating.
Uh-huh.
Nice tender rabbit stew.
Wholesome Pfeffer.
Yes. Billy,
Why am I
Billy,
sitting up here thinking about being my magic helmet?
yeah. Be very, very quiet. Eric is Grandpa is drawing. Anyway, Jennifer Hawkins says, "Figures we have been waiting on drawings since October."
I got comic books to put out, and people pay for other stuff. So
It's nice to know that you take them in the order you get them, Eric. So anyway, hey Ted Inspector, and hi Carl, and everyone's saying hello. And Clyde, that shirt is awesome.
Oh, thank you,
Close up,
thank you.
sir. Oh, that is stylish.
This is a 90s-ish classic DC universe with the Superman mullet and everything. So,
oh man,
Kyle Rayner Lantern, and yeah.
Nice, very, very cool. All right, everybody's going to want one now. And Rick Bradley is bragging now. He actually, on his copy of, and yes, he knows, on his copy of Major Marjorie, he got the very first autograph from Alessia Kent. I don't even have an autograph from Alessia Kent.
I don't either.
Right?
Yeah,
we got to get in.
We're in the bullpen. We're left out in the cold.
I know, and after all I've done for her, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But anyway, so rolling alcohol bottles on the floor, that sounds like tomorrow night. Don't forget the green room from Uncle Carl's secret humor page, the worst kept secret in the world, and I pay every day.
24/7.
Yeah. Probably feels more like 28/9. But, and Leslie says, "I want Reese as a bunny person from Oz on whatever sketch thing you do for my comic I bought from you."
Yeah.
You charge?
I do believe you got a free bus, so I would not be complaining too much.
Oh my god!
So okay, cat's out of bed. I am actually working on a Cthulhu-like character for Oz. I'm going to name him Zthulu.
Ooh, I like this.
He's got a big diver's helmet. That's what I'm actually drawing that right now. He's got a big diver's helmet and stuff.
Well,
There is no Dana. Only
I don't know where I'm going to put him though. He's not
Zulu.
going to be in the next 3 issues. So,
well, you got to get practice in, and these will go into the next trade paperback, right?
maybe.
They're
definitely not going to be another hardback. That's a pain in the ass.
Anyway, and Jennifer Hawkins, she has become more beguiling with this statement. X-Lax is for amateurs.
Mhm.
No shit. Anyway, since I paid for that, says Lissy, she is only 15 pounds. We don't weight shame around here, unless it's me. And Jennifer Hawkins, again, I pay every day. And Carl Winslow says, "Wow, we might see marital discord tonight." I believe, Jennifer may be on her way into Eric's half of the bed tonight, for all we know.
I just realized what I
Yeah,
have
probably
in
not.
my hand here.
What, Joe?
I just realized what I have in my hand here.
Ooh, a
It may actually look blank, but it's really not. That's just the cover backing the actual sketch cover.
Oh, okay.
This was one of the ones that was bought on the campaign. I was like, oh, this is the thing that I was working on, and I still have to color it though, but that was what they wanted on it.
Oh, that's pretty.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's a homage to Uncanny X-Men 168.
Yeah.
Yep, with Kitty Pryde. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Nice.
Cool. Well, don't
Very
ask
nice.
Eric to draw on that thing, apparently. That's not
If
gonna
I
get you
did, I
anywhere.
have to pay, and I can't afford his payment because
That's right.
once I started to pay him, I don't stop. Already made me aware of the rules.
It's like paying protection money to the mob, It's just, you don't get a week off from that. Anyway, let's see here. And Parallax Spectre, Uncanny 168. Woot! All right, Parallax. Good taste, my friend. And with that, we have caught up with your comments. Please keep them coming. We'll read them in between the reviews tonight. And Joe, do you want is the telephone line working tonight, or?
Yeah, I think the count might be a part of this one.
Joe.
No, I wish there was another G.I. Joe ones. Those are fun, especially Saturday morning adventures. Those are fun.
Yeah, that was tempting. But anyway, here's Joe D. McFee outlining your selection tonight. So pay attention. Write this stuff down, kids.
Yes, it's only down to 3, counting 3 books. So number 1 of the 3 books is Hit Me number 2.
Ding!
You could choose that as selection number 1. Selection number 2. And I'm quite partial to this one because it's in the shape of a bat.
Ding!
So this is Flashpoint Beyond number 1. And you select option number 2 for this one. And last but not least, we have Guilt. I will explain what that acronym would states a little bit later here. But it's issue number 1, and that makes 3. Count on 3 selections.
Hope you wrote them down, kids. All
Please
right.
select now.
All right, and the votes are cascading in. We have, well, first of all, Rick Bradley goes, protection money for Eric Hawkins. He's learned much from the mouse.
Ooh.
So,
Hail the mouse.
And here we go with the votes come cascading in. Ted Davies Artistry votes for number 2. And Ted Davies Artistry votes for number 2. Eric Hawkins votes for number 2. I want to see Joe review a Bat book.
I was thinking the same thing.
Same here. Yeah. You know, it's like, and the feel of every time he mentions Batman, like molten brass upon his tongue. And Ted Davies has switched his vote to number 2. Listy wants number 3. Donna votes for number 2. Christy Selmer, always a pleasure to see you. She wants number 3. Carl Witzman wants number 2, and Rick Bradley wants number 2 as well. Well, it's close between that and number 1, mostly because number 1 and 2 are numerically like next to each other. But anyway, and I think I've made my vote. So anyway, we'll be back. If anyone wants to pick up on this and put in some more votes, we will count them. But
Two.
No more than 2. But anyway, thank you, Joe.
No problem.
All right, and Eric, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. I'll go.
I'll
go. Let's do it.
Let's do
it
this
live.
thing. Yeah.
So, really, there was nothing at my shop this week.
Okay, bye.
A lot of empty racks. It was crazy. I don't know if it was because of the holiday or if maybe a shipment didn't come in or paper shortages. Who knows? But I did pick up a book from Image, and it's written by James Tinian IV. That might be the 4th. Art by Gavin Fullerton and colors by Chris O'Halloran. No, I gotta stop reading names. Okay, so I got that far in the names, but it's called The Closet, and it seems to be like a little horror. I didn't know anything about it, so it's a little bit of a horror story, monster in a closet type story. The art is fairly decent, very thick inked like style to it. Really heavy inks.
Mm-hmm.
And very light on the dialogue. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 pages with no dialogue whatsoever. Shoot! There's another page.
It means your lips won't get tired when you read the book.
There's the monster in the closet. He's not very detailed. But so this family, they're moving to a new, away from the city. And the boy has been seeing a monster in his closet for like the last 4 years. And the father seems to be an alcoholic. He went out to go get some packing tape so they could finish up their boxes when they move out of the apartment. And he stops at a bar and starts drinking. He goes, just one more. Just one more. I'll tell the wife I had to look at more than one store. The first store didn't have tape, so and he's already bought the tape. You find out. So he's telling this the bartender who knows him because apparently he frequents the bar quite a bit about his son seeing monsters, and the bartender tells him about his I believe it's his sister's kid or his niece. They use unicorn piss to scare away the monsters. They have it in like a water bottle. So they got water, water in a spray bottle. It's got, some stuff in it to make it smell good. But they tell the kids unicorn piss, and monsters don't like unicorn piss because it's like, a dog marking its territory, so they won't come around. So he thinks that's ridiculous, but when he gets home and his wife starts yelling at him, which apparently I think she does that all the time, regardless of whatever he does, is the way I took it. He decides, he's going to use the unicorn piss trick because his son wants to sleep with him. There's 2 more pages, no dialogue. Good grief. That's over half the book now. But anyway, I'm sorry. There's one. So, and he ended up not getting the right tape anyway. That's another reason he's getting yelled at. He brought masking tape home instead of packing tape, which work in a pinch, but not really if you got a bunch of boxes. So he can't get a spray bottle out of the house because all of his have been packed up. So he gets a glass, fills it with water, and tells his son it's unicorn piss. His son's like, "No, it isn't. I just saw you get it out of the tap." So his son's not buying it. The wife's still pissed at him, but he tries to explain to the kid about dogs marking their territory, and he doesn't even know what that means. And this is where I got a little confused because you get to see the monster. The kid's sleeping, his closet's open, the lights on, and you get to see the little monster coming out right there. Which I'll tell a little story about me. As a child, unfortunately, it was probably early teens, unfortunately, like 13. Yeah, well, I don't know. How old was I when Gremlins came out? Gremlins terrified me. I could not sleep with my closet open. If it was open, I had to make sure it was shut. I'd sit there and stare at it for like an hour and then get up and shut it because I was afraid something was going to come out and get me. But in this case, I guess the big-headed ET is going to come get him with big teeth. But this is where I got lost. I mean, okay, so there's no dialogue for me to read. The monster comes out of the closet. I had to go back and try to figure out what was going on because, there's a lot of darkness. The monster climbs up in the bed, but then he's gone. And then the kid's like looking at some of the boxes. And I'm like, okay, he's looking at the boxes. Well, apparently that's where the closet door was. The closet door left as well. So, but it was hard for me to get that from the drawings. And because, the next here, the closet's on top of the bed. So I didn't know what was going on here. But the kid is afraid the monster's coming with him to their new house, even though he doesn't have a closet there. But apparently the monster doesn't need a closet. He just puts a door wherever he wants. But you don't learn anything about the monster. If he's a monster, I don't know. He might just look scary. But this family's moving out to the burbs to get away from city life, and they're taking a monster with them. And that's about all you're going to find out in this issue here. Which will take you 3 minutes to read. But I'll say this. James Tynion probably writes more than Colin Bunn in a month. And now I see how he does it. He doesn't fill up all the pages. I will pick up the next issue because I want to see what's going on. The art could have been better. Not drawn, but the storytelling should have been better because I didn't know what was going on at the end until I was going back and trying to figure out what was going on. And it took me a few minutes. It took me longer to figure that out than read the book. But I can't give it more than a 7. I gotta give this a 7, mostly because of the art style at the end where I didn't know what was going on. 7 out of 10. Well, so I really can't even recommend it. It's not horrible. It might pick up. I see potential, but I don't know if it's there yet. So your mileage may vary. 7 out of 10. I'm not going to throw it. I'll give it that.
All right. Actually, I'm kind of disappointed because I was ready to break out the telestrator to show.
I wanted to
move from over here to over there.
I might throw the second issue. If the second issue is half empty of dialogue and exposition and nothing, and really dark panels that I can't tell what's going on, I'm going to toss out the window. I'll open the window and see if I can frisbee it out through there.
Have any of you read A Nice House on the Lake that he's been doing for Black Label?
I read the first couple of issues. I really liked it, but I didn't follow up with
it. That's a big cast, and he does this really cool sci-fi horror story with a whole lot of personalities. And when I read this, I'm like, okay, this is the same kind of examination of relationships kept very small.
Mm.
And Monster in Your Closet it's a trope, but the whole fears that we see from the dad that Tom has is kind of the same. They're tropey kind of fears of, what if I'm the weakest person in the relationship?
Mm.
What if I'm not carrying my own weight? Which is a really good thing for him to think, because he is, and he's not. But then we see the wife.
He also has a shrew of a wife.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. The relationships and how it feeds off of, that's as much of an examination as, it's the fears of life. It's these ongoing, unsettling fears that we all have, like not holding up your part of the relationship, your kid not respecting you. Oh, and Monster in the Closet too. It's kind of by the way, that one also. But I liked it. I thought it was not about the same level. I think mine was 7.5 when I reviewed it, but
it really needed something that was like 12 pages of no dialogue.
It did. But
I could put out 12 books a year like that too.
Yeah.
They'll make it easier to edit, that's for sure.
And the art goes a long way to help sell it. And it would have to, but you see
I like the art style, but at the end, when I didn't know what was going on with the monster climbing around, I was like,
that's absolutely right. Yeah, I had the same problem. I'm like, why is there a box, but there's no detail? Oh, this room is like he's just gating through it. He took the opening here and just put it on the head of the bed, but it's real hard to get that. I think it was a third read through that I finally connected all those dots.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's about the same with me. I had to go back through and it's like, okay, something happened to the monster. Why is it above the bed? What's going on here? What? Oh, the door was between these two boxes in this panel, and it just gone in this panel. Okay. Well, it's a little better.
Oh, man. Well,
I have to look up the artist, see what else he's done. Because, I mean, it's professional work, but just the storytelling, that last part. But it could have been his writer just giving him bad descriptions.
Could you tell me?
I've seen that before.
Could you expand on this and just go ahead and give me some information? No.
Exactly. Hey, this doesn't work for me. I can't draw this. What do you mean?
Check the dialogue. It'll tell you what you need to know.
Make the door disappear.
Good. I was starting to feel targeted for a minute. Anyway, we do have some comments. Jennifer Hawkins votes for 2. That may put that slight lead. I'm not sure, but thank you. And Lissy says that the book sounds interesting.
Yeah, I'm not going through it yet. I mean, it is interesting, and it's well written. What is written?
Yes. Yeah, is written? Yeah. Carl Winston
says, I expected more when I got home. I was like, oh, it's Tinian. Like, where's the rest of the story? I thought maybe I had a misprint.
Yeah, I was going to say, we get notice next week that they're recalling that issue because the printer left out the word balloon files. Carl Winston says, you misspelled the only word in the comic. And now we have, coming in from the Witness Protection Program, Brian Rodman, spoiler alert, I'm the monster in Eric Hawkins' closet.
He does kind of look like John Goodman's monster. What is his name?
Sully
from Monsters Inc. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
And
if he was blue or teal or whatever with the pink dots, I bet he's as hairy under his shirt.
Well, and if he doesn't get a solid breath, he could turn blue. So anyway, but no, Brian, we thank you for reminding us about your monster. We are always glad to hear about that. So anyway, you're not the first to compare me to Sully. You piloted a plane into the Potomac? Brian, you are, man. Well done, young man. Well done. Anyway, and Brian is at home going, I don't need to be in the studio to take the crap from Morris. I can just stay home on the couch, pet Luna, and let him abuse me.
We
I
have
don't
a-
need this crap. I'm taking my comic book and going home.
That's right. And
We have
Brian
a
says,
crap
"That's
delivery
classified,
service."
Brian." You'd be surprised what my clearance is. Anyway, so getting back to the votes,
Yes.
have you been keeping track, or did you lose?
Well, yeah,
track?
I've been keeping track. It's kind of a landslide, and I'm kind of like giggling because y'all fell for the trap.
Oh, and we fell for it, people.
You fell for
He's
it.
got another book inside that book.
Yeah,
No.
it's a
No.
Superman book. What do you want about? Anyway,
He's going to review the ads for the other Bat titles. That's what it is.
There
I
you
see.
go. That's a solid
No.
plan there. Yeah.
No, it's something that you have to know me to understand to understand the psychological behind it.
He's gonna say screw it and just review Amazonia. But anyway,
No.
Oh, and wait a minute. We
Tonight
did not.
is what everybody wants me to do here.
No, hold on.
And
I've
that
got a
is-
disclaimer now.
That is Flashpoint Beyond. But the thing that people don't realize is that is Batman, but which Batman is it?
Ooh.
This is Flashpoint,
Mhm.
as you know. Let me tell you, it ain't Bruce Wayne. It's the only true Batman that I recognize,
Uh,
and that's Thomas Wayne.
Yeah.
I like Thomas Wayne. Okay.
It's
I like
Thomas
Thomas Wayne too.
We got to put this up. Everybody else has got one here. So the Amazon driven as voted upon by our audience viewpoint of Joe D. McFee does not reflect those of the cast and crew of Comic Book Spectrum, but you can't leave the room until it does. So there you go, Joe. You get it.
And see on the back, it's a Superman one, so they're actually paying attention
Thank goodness,
Why?
a good comic.
because it's the good Batman, Thomas Wayne. Doesn't need backup. He got what he got. So yeah, this is Flashpoint Beyond #1 here. And where is the credits for? I want to make certain that people get credited correctly here. See, we have Superman there. We got Flash there. So they're learning. That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying. A really good Batman, even a Nubia one.
there you go.
Aren't those only
does
two
not
shows
need-
left on the
He does
CW,
not
though?
need to advertise himself. He does not need to be narcissistic like his son. That's why I say he's the best Batman ever. He knows what he's doing and he does what he does well. So Batman, I'm about to say Batman Beyond. No, Flashpoint Beyond, written by Jeff Johns, Jeremy Adams, and Tim Sheridan. Arts by, I'm going to call the guy's first name by X, and Mikel Janin for pages 27 and 28. Colors by Romello Fajardo Jr. and Jordi Belair for pages 27 and 28. Letters by Rob Lai, and this cover is by Mitch Gerrits. So that's that one.
Nice.
Who did the artwork for the main part of the pages there? Because they only gave credit for pages 27 and 28. Well, it is a Jeff Johns book, so they could have been drawing and doing their own thing here. But one of the things that I like about this book here is that they give you a quick little synopsis of what Flashpoint is, about how Barry did what he did to go back in time to save his mom and everything, and the whole timeline got screwed. And they also did the no here with the 2-page credits.
No.
But it's not as bad as what Marvel did, which is 2-page credits. Then the following page is more credits, and then after that you get to story. So that's not bad here. So Flashpoint #1 starts off with you hearing about the news and everything, about everything that's going on, and you see that there's takeout in the kitchen and whatnot, and you see somebody eating, and that person that's eating is Thomas Wayne, and he has his brand new ward with him. So he has this brand new ward that he takes up under his wing, and they're eating dinner while watching TV and everything. And you kind of notice that the house is very, very empty, but it's not very well kept either. So pretty much, he's thinking about, thinking to himself and, asking questions about what can he do to improve the world that this young ward that he has, how to improve his world where he doesn't have to suffer the same fate that he does. So there was a knocking and saying hello, hello, hello. And guess who comes in? We get Oswald Cobblepot. And no, he's not the Penguin. He is Thomas Wayne's assistant in Flashpoint. So he comes in to let Thomas know that everything that Thomas had been planning is working now. Everything is ready for him to do what he needs to do. Thomas asks Oswald to look after the kid and everything, and he asked the kid what he wants to do, this, that, and the other, and then he comes back, nothing, the kid didn't say nothing, so he goes talk to Thomas. It's like, well, you just want me to babysit, yeah, like what I do, feed it, type stuff and everything. And they have their conversation about what's going to happen next and everything, and if everything is going to be okay, that he wants to make certain that Thomas comes back after this mission, because only they know what he's about to do. So Oswald, pretty much, okay, fine, that whatever you say, boss, it is what it is. And then he comes back and asks the kid what he wants to do, and he's like, oh, I want to learn how to shoot a gun. It's like, okay, fine, we could do that. It's like he could do that. So Thomas goes down to the Batcave. He puts on the suit. He gets the fated weapon of choice. Unlike Bruce, he actually does use a gun. He's actually thinking. It's like he has to do what he got to do. He's not one of those people that's like, no, there's a better way. It's like, no, everything has been stripped from him. He's down that dark path. He does not have a problem with killing. Like I said, the real Batman. So after that, we get a 2-page spread dealing with the Milestone Initiative here. Again, we're seeing variety with the ads. Thank you, DC. So here we're looking at the rest of the world, and the rest of the world is pretty much, we see like all the Kraken and everything. We're seeing all these places up on the world with all these Atlantean soldiers and everything. Big Ben crumbling, all these different places having, the Atlantean flags and everything. Why? Because the war that happened between Amazons and Atlanteans is just about over. There's Diana, prisoner, pretty much there, to suffer the fate of her own, to suffer the fate of her death and everything, to be drowned to death and everything, while the Atlantean guards are, staying there and everything. They're up here torturing her, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're hearing something in the background. It's like they're up here, like, what's going on? There's something in the water. I don't understand what's happening. Who could be there? And then, guns a-blazing, the real Batman, Thomas Wayne, kills him. And that's when Thomas Wayne comes up to Diana and makes the deal. And that deal is, it's like, hey, I will let you loose, but I need a favor. And she's up here, it's like, what? You're like, what favor you want? It's like, you want me to, really pay, help you do something out of the ordinary and this, that, and the other. You're trying to save the world. It's like, screw that. I got a way to save the world here. And pretty much that's not what he wants. So they make a deal. So now we have the king of the world, Arthur Curry, aka Aquaman, sitting there lonely on his throne, hearing the clock in the background going tick, tock, tick, tock, just looking at the time, nothing more, nothing less. And then behind him, out of nowhere, we see his neck get wrapped with the lasso of truth. And there's Thomas Wayne. And he says, like, you sent one of your assassins to kill Barry Allen. Why did you do that? You know, who asked you to do that? And then he was like, why? Then Arthur was like, you know what? Screw this. He grabs the lasso of truth, pretty much gave, Thomas Wayne a good little toss, and they get into this fight here. And they're up here, it's like going through the whole thing. It's like, I tried to bring peace to the world. I did everything that I needed to do and everything. But to answer your question, the truth is I didn't send those assassins to kill, Barry Allen. And that is the truth, because he's never let go of that. And so it's like, so in other words, he's up here, it's like he has no idea who did what to Barry Allen. Only thing he knows is like, you messed up by thinking that you could come here to stop me from doing what I'm doing. But that's the thing about Thomas Wayne. Thomas Wayne is always thinking 5 steps ahead. So he wasn't there for that. He was just there for the answer to that question about what happened to Barry. And then on top of that, he's like, Arthur's like, well, you're a fool to release Wonder Woman. It's like she'll burn this world to the ground, because he's always thinking about maintaining peace, but yet he rules everything with an iron fist, unlike other people here. So he's up here, fearing what Diana would do and this, that, and the other. It's like he's thinking that Diana has already left to go gather what Amazons are still left to come and try to attack him. However, that is not the case here. So he's up here about to get ready to look through the oracle, and then that's when he noticed his trident is missing. And it's like, how is my trident missing? That's the reason why the trident is missing. Diana got it and killed him.
Guess he found it.
He found it very well. And her exact words is like, your reign is over, Emperor, and so is but yet you see remorse, because if you remember in the original Flashpoint, she actually fell in love with Arthur Curry, but it was more along the lines of an adulterous affair, because technically Arthur still loved Mira, and because he kind of spurned Diana in that way, Diana ended up killing Mira in the original Flashpoint, and that brought a world war to come into play between the Amazons and the Atlanteans, and it became like a world war because of that. So they kind of reference what actually happened in Flashpoint. It's like, you fool, I actually loved you. It's like, I love Mira. You killed the only queen, my only queen, and then he passes out and everything. And then Diana turns like, our deal is done unless you wish to try to stop me too. And it's like, nope, I got my answers. Then leave. Tell your world I will be coming for them. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters here. Again, Thomas Wayne thinking 5 steps ahead. So he just leaves her standing there over Arthur Curry's body at that point. So what could the real Batman, Thomas Wayne, thinking at this point? Why would he say nothing matters here? So eventually he gets back to Wayne Manor and everything. He sees that Oswald is still teaching him how to shoot a gun and everything. And you see, like I said, the mansion is not all pristine and whatnot. It could use a true Alfred, but you know, like I said, Oswald is Oswald. It's not as bad as what we think it is. So he comes back in, he sees what's going on, and he asks Oswald to have a word with him, and he tells the little kid to keep practicing on the dummies and everything to try to hit the dummies and whatnot. So here he is. It's like, they're talking and everything about the cameras and everything to that magnitude and everything. And he says, like, well, the casino, did we check the security cameras? It's like they were disabled, but there's got to be evidence somewhere. I still lost a good number of people, meaning that wherever hit Thomas Wayne and killed the Flash, they're trying to investigate to figure out what did it. Now, fast forward over to modern DC, our current DC. There's our guy, Barry Allen, up here talking to Bruce. Boo, Bruce. Boo. He's up there. It's like, well, Bruce, are you okay? Is everything okay? This, that, and the other. And he was telling him, like, well, Dawn is back. And what he's trying to do is trying to prevent another flashpoint from happening. So they're up here in discussion about what could Dawn's purpose be this time around. Meanwhile, while Flash is talking about that, Bruce comes down and looks at this little drummer character right here. And he says, like, it's not late to undo this. So I believe that this little kid is the same little kid that Thomas Wayne takes up under his wing here. And you notice there's the snow globe and a watch. And that watch belongs to Thomas Wayne. And as you see, it's ticking. And he says, like, and then that's when Bruce said, yes, it is. Because Bruce understands how his father's thinking. Now it's going to be death in hyper time, which is the next issue here. And that's how Flashpoint Beyond begins, with a great, real Batman story. So every time you think of Batman, you have to think of our boy, the man who produced the so-called beloved Batman that most people like. The real Batman, Thomas Wayne, is about to put something in motion that only maybe the Flash and Bruce can stop, but we don't know as of yet. So that's how issue number 1 ends. Overall, for what it was worth, it wasn't a bad story. At least it was a great beginning of something that could be epic. Again, it's only 6 issues long here. So normally, it's like, from what I have experienced with these 6-issue miniseries that's been coming out with DC as of late, always have a great start off. I should say the majority of them have a great start off. However, the endings have been like meh. But for issue number 1, I have to give this a 8 out of 10.
Ooh, nice.
So it's
big
a
number.
great little read, especially if you're a fan of Flashpoint, and like how I am. I'm a fan of Thomas Wayne. That's why I said I kind of tricked you guys.
That is very cool. But I will dispute one thing, because there is only one true Batman, Jean-Paul Valley. Okay. Anyway, just razzing you. No, that sounds pretty good. What, Eric? What?
Now, here's something. I don't know if you guys know this. You probably know that McFarlane has the DC license to create figures.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
DC has laid down a decree that they cannot have any weapons, any guns of any type. So they got him out. Hold on a second. Yes. I will be back.
Yes, he will.
He's like, hold that thought.
Yes. He has to finish that sketch for Lissy. But anyway, folks, we want to, let's see, here we go. We got some comments. That darn Barry Allen, says Carl Wisman, is always messing up the timeline over and over and over. Also, Carl says, almost forgot to put a like on this video. Don't be like Carl, but actually be like Carl and redeem yourself by putting a like on this video. Or if you haven't already on YouTube, please subscribe to us because it helps us so very, very much. Parallax Spectre, you've got a fan, Joe. Says, I love Joe McFee reviews. His voice is awesome. And boo, earns. Okay. And Matthew McHale, hello, Joe from Matthew. Hello, Matthew. How you doing? And Parallax saying hello to him. An interesting take on the Flashpoint. And Matthew McHale, thank you for being here. You can always rewind this and start all over. That's the nice thing. Joe's reviews, all the reviews here, they're kind of like Thanksgiving dinner. The reruns, like leftovers, are pretty darn tasty too. And let's hope they don't fudge the landing to Flashpoint Beyond. And Parallax Spectre also likes Thomas Wayne. And boo, Mr. Fezman, boo. Okay, now I have to get my thing here. Here we go. The meandering DC-centric Krypton fetishization viewpoint of Brian K. Morris does not reflect those of the cast and crew of Comic Book Spectrum or anyone else in this solar system either. So anyway, now we've established that. So I'll take the heaping of abuse you will give me, Parallax. And Flashpoint was great, and then the New 52 happened. New 52 had its moments. Few and far between, but it had them. And exactly, McHale, says Parallax Spectre. And while we're waiting on Eric to finish his story, now this is a cliffhanger here. Eric's got us started here, and now he's departed. Oh, wait, there he is.
Oh, there he is.
There he is. Okay. I thought I was going to have to fill in, but anyway, hi, Eric.
Hi.
Hope everything's okay.
Yeah, just a toilet running and wasn't shutting down. Didn't know which one it was.
Okay, all right, that's fair enough. But anyway, you were saying about the toys that Todd McFarlane is.
DC will not allow any of their characters to have guns with them, including Thomas Wayne. Even though Thomas Wayne came out before that came down, so his does have guns. But I mean, Grifter comes with a sword. Wow. I think a lot of them come with swords and knives now. So Peacemaker does not have a gun. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous, and they're not kids' toys. I mean, they're McFarlane's. They're higher, they're collectors' toys. I mean, they're for adults, so it's kind of silly. But he's got a way around it. He's come out with weapons packs for the Spawn line, which is the same scale.
Oh, okay, all right, very cool.
But it's just silly. I mean, if you're going to still put guns in the comics, you won't let the toys have the guns. I mean, especially when the character is known for using a gun. It's silly.
Yeah. Well, I think it might be. I don't know when this item was launched. But
a year ago.
Oh, a year ago. Okay, I was going to say in light of recent news events.
It's been a while.
Well, then screw those guys. Anyway, that's my thing. And Matthew McHale says Batman does not use guns unless that are mounted to a car or plane, and then all bets are off.
No, that's Bruce Wayne.
And
if you go far enough back in Bruce Wayne's history, yes, he used to carry a gun when he first started out.
It's true, he did. And Jennifer Hawkins goes, I apologize, everyone. No, hon, there is nothing to apologize for. A toilet running is a toilet running. And Batman used the gun for years, Mikhail. No need to apologize, Jennifer. I agree with you completely, Parallax. And relax, you Parallax. And hey, Jennifer, house tasks come first. And Matthew is accusing someone of trying to ruin his joke. That's okay. We understand. We ruin jokes all the time here. So, and Jennifer Hawkins goes, I respect the show and his artistic views, but I didn't want to clean up water, and he can always pinpoint it. It's a guy thing. It's a guy thing,
Well, see, so there's a closet behind me, and then there's a laundry room right behind this.
Okay.
So pipes run through this closet here. And I heard water running, so I was like, I guess one of the kids is taking a shower. No. One of the toilets was, just not filling up and just running.
Yeah, I'm kind of sensitive to that too, since I used to work for a water company, and when we started getting up at 4 a.m. with Cookie, I was listening and I'd hear water running. I'm like, oh crap, did the toilet run all night? Because we've got one on every floor of the house here. And then I realized we also have a water softener and a water conditioner. And what it does at night is the filters, they spray down the filters to clean them and pour that junk into the into the sewer. But that was the noise I was hearing. So I felt better after that. So anyway, no, we understand, Jennifer, and you can borrow our guy anytime you need him. And Parallax Spectre says, no art, get to manual labor, good sir. Oh, so anyway, load up on those gambling tokens there, so Eric can do drawings for you forever. Anyway, so I guess it's my turn, right?
Yes, if we're preserving the gold standard for last, yes.
We always save the best for last.
I don't know. This is a different week. This is a whole nother ball game. But
we could be seeing something go airborne with Clyde. I can hardly wait. This is going to be good. And
no, it's a based on a PDF, so that would be very difficult. I'm not throwing the computer, but
that shows commitment, though.
That's right.
He's going to delete it.
That's right. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the kids keep talking about being deleted, about being canceled, and there we go. And Mikhail, Joe showed off the X-Men 168 cover he's working on. There it is in all of its glory. And, ooh, cool, says Matthew. See? And don't forget that campaign is still going on right now, so please check out Kickstarter and give generously to that. So anyway, it's now my turn, and so since I'm still awake this week, it was a light week. Once again, and oddly enough, they didn't put a Doctor Who magazine in my bundle, for which I am incredibly grateful. But they put something in that was almost as cool, and we'll get to that. But first of all, we have the third issue of We Have Demons. This was a great read. And I really want to get the first two issues and read these all in one sitting. This brings the current story arc to an ending. This has a lot going on as the people are looking for what's called Halo, which is like a comet type of thing, like, kryptonite or something, except this is good stuff, and they can build weapons from it to destroy the demons. Unfortunately, the demons found out where this stuff is, and they're hoarding it. So anyway, it's one more chance to give evil the finger, and this was just such a great read. Plus, they include the script in the back that Scott Snyder gave to Greg Capullo, and it shows how when you have a great team that it's almost like they can read each other's minds, and it's an interesting way to do the scripting when you really, really trust your penciler. I'll have to try this with Eric sometime and see how much he likes it. Anyway, that's what I thought. Anyway, but anyway, We Have Demons. This is a great, great read. Little bit of gore in here, but other than that, I'm giving this a 10. And I'll give the series so far a 10. This has exceeded my expectations for what this horror story is about. And this has got so much potential that I'm digging it. I really want the next series to come up. By the way, I just learned that the next one of the Ultraman miniseries is going to start around August or so. I'm happy about that. Now, the next one, kind of a mixed bag. Now, I did sit down. I told the guys that I only liked about half of it, but as I sat down and I really kind of warmed up to the other half. But it's Action Comics Annual for 2022. And I noticed they did not number this. It's the 1922 annual number 1, so they can do a new one, number 1 every year. Anyway, this cover is by Francesco Francavilla, who has done a lot of work for Archie and other smaller companies. He's the one that did Afterlife with Archie, where the zombie invasion happens in Riverdale. And this is his cover, and half of it is a flashback to when Clark Kent was very, very young, and contrasting it to a point when Mongol was very, very young and having to learn the lessons of life. Now, in Mongols, it means kill or be killed. But with Superman, he learns mercy. and he learns compassion. And that part is very well done. The stuff with Mongol is okay. This was co-written by the regular writer on Action, Philip Kennedy Johnson, and co-written with Cy Spurrier, who's done a lot of good work. I like his work. The art chores have been divided up between Dale Eaglesham and Ian Churchill. I think Churchill did the Mongol and Eaglesham did the Superman part. But as you can see, we're on War World. Things are getting icky. And Mongol and his mother are being put into the wasteland. But meanwhile, in the past, back on Earth, Ma Kent has a little moment. I'm going to skip the big ta-da moment, but Clark has to deal with a schoolmate who is continuing the cycle of abuse from his father. And that part is brilliant. This is a great read just for that. I almost said super story. But thank God I did. But anyway, I'm going to give this a 9.5 just on the basis of the Superman half of this. Also, keep in mind, and I don't always spring for the variant cover, but I'm a sucker for Steve Rude and his work. And this is a redo of the classic Action Comics #1. In fact, the emblem is a very golden age too. And like I said, I love Steve Rude's work, and this is no exception. A little heavier stock on the cover, good stuff, real close on it. But the real treat for me this week, and I know Clyde was looking forward to this too, I believe. Oh yeah. Back in the 60s, we were first introduced to the concept of dolls, for men,
action figures.
I'm getting to that, Eric. I'm building up. Okay. I'm a writer. I do that sort of stuff. But anyway, no, it was with G.I. Joe, as Eric said so wisely, that we finally had action figures because dolls were for girls. And so G.I. Joe started a trend that was continued by Ideal with a character called Captain Action. And the neat thing about Captain Action was G.I. Joe could be an astronaut. He could be a Green Beret. He could be a just about any branch of the military, a Navy guy, whatever. But Captain Action had a little better shtick here. He could be Superman. He could be I'm trying to find the page in here. He could be Flash Gordon. He could be any number of amazing comic book and newspaper characters. Steve Canyon, Spider,
Sergeant Fury.
Fury, yes. And I'm trying to find the page so y'all can see it. But anyway, he could, and also Batman, the Green Hornet, and his sidekick Action Boy could also be various characters like Superboy, etc., etc. But anyway, there was a 5-issue series that lasted not very long, unfortunately. But when they decided to do this, they came out strong with a beautiful Irv Novick cover. And you see that artwork on the right? That is the great Wally Wood. You've heard his name on this show a lot. Arguably one of the best draftsmen in comic history. And the story was written by Jim Shooter, who at this point in time probably wasn't even old enough to drive yet. But it starts out with action. A slugfest between Captain Action and his enemy, Krellick. And then we launch into the origin where Krellick and Clive Arno, get it, Clive Arno, Captain Action? So subtle. Anyway, they're archaeologists. They're on the dig, and they unearth a cache of coins that they find it interesting that one coin may have like the lightning giver, whether it's Thor or whatever he's called in another religion, and then they're taken back to the Hall of the Gods, and you see Odin or Jupiter or whoever he is. And the gods imbue their power in a series of coins. And whoever is worthy will get the power of the coins. Now, Kralik tries to rip them off, and as you can see, it doesn't work. However, there is one coin that does, and it's from the god of evil. All right? And he gets some powers. And then they go back to the city, and Clive sees his son Carl Arno. And he's a widower, by the way, Clive is. And he unveils his brand new hideout and his brand new identity as Captain Action. Unfortunately, there's already somebody wearing that hat. Unfortunately, Big Blue, you know it wouldn't be a good comic review without me mentioning Superman. So anyway, there's a Wally Wood Superman, which if that doesn't make you ring out your depends, I don't know what does. But anyway, big full-page action there as Captain Action says, I got this one, Soups. And
yeah, there's no Justice League membership in the mail for Captain Action after that.
No, that's what you get for giving Big Blue as a shove there.
Yeah.
Although the Justice League is name dropped in one of the issues.
Yeah.
And then we start out with the next issue. How can it get any better? You have Wally Wood, ink Gil Kane. All right. Beautiful action. Look at those poses. Look at the movement. Look at the dynamicism of the artwork there and the great storytelling. And Kralik gets his comeuppance, of course. And then in the next issue, the first two issues were edited by Mort Weisinger, who is the chief editor on the Superman family of titles. Well, with this issue, Julie Schwartz takes over. And not only that, but Gil Kane takes over the writing. And it is awesome. It is excellent work. Gil doesn't get enough credit for his writing. And you can see there's emotion. There's drama. All right? And high stakes. And nudity. And this is a comics code approved book. But anyway, what happens is there is an accident in a lab, and Clive Arno's father-in-law is turned into Dr. Evil. Not to be confused with the Austin Powers character.
$1 billion.
That's right, yes. And no mini-me for this guy until issue 4. But anyway, he takes up a disguise as the father-in-law, as Action Boy's grandfather. And some beautiful back and forth dialogue here where Dr. Evil explains why he doesn't feel a part of humanity anymore. And here's something else that's cool. They print the old letter columns. And there is like letters from people like Martin Pasco, who went on to write Superman and other things. And also in the 4th issue, Gil Kane takes over the entire book. He does everything but the coloring and the lettering. But
Slacker.
I know, right? But anyway, he takes over the inking. And it's another story where he manages to bring back his daughter from the dead to torment his former son-in-law. Okay? Very emotional moment. And a lot of cataclysms, a lot of drama, more cool stuff. And then in the last issue, unfortunately, the sales on this, what's the term? Oh, yeah, they stunk. Gil comes back to ink the final cover, but Wally Wood comes back to ink Gil in the final story.
Hey, the comic still outlasted the run of the action figures.
That's true. That's true. They were not around very, very long, darn it. But yeah, it's a super, super book. Plus, a text page about the two faces of Dr. Evil, Gordon Flagg Jr. Hey, here's a letter from Claus Janson.
Yeah.
Okay, the former Punisher artist and inker on Mini Frank Miller. There's the cover art from the box.
Yay!
Captain Action. And he gets to have a gun. Poor guy. And then here's some of the advertising pages from the comics.
Kurt Schaffenberger.
And then here's Chick Stone.
Yep.
On a little giveaway comic that I never got to see. And then you get to see the black and white artwork. Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah.
and even Gil Kane's layouts.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, there is a lot of great stuff. Beautiful package here from IDW. And as I was telling the guys in our private chat earlier, I would like to see somebody get the rights to Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
It was a 6-issue series, I think, from DC, and the scripts were by Joe Gill. The art was by Alex. Most of the art was by Alex Toth. Beautiful work. And in the last issue, Toth wrote it. But anyway, this Captain Action, if you want to see, this is not just retro comics. This is solid storytelling. And if you are a fan of comics, and especially if you're a creator, and you want to study somebody that knew his stuff, and you want to emulate it, Gil Kane had anatomy down. He had the solid action storytelling down, and he was a damn fine writer to boot. This is a great little slice of history, and it's one that you won't see DC reprint because, of course, being a licensed product, they don't have the rights anymore. But there's solid storytelling, great stories by Gil Kane and Jim Shooter, beautiful artwork. This is a 10.5 out of 10. This is worth it. This is $30 worth of worth it. And it's a solid hardcover. And if Sarah, if you're watching, so there. That makes it official. Definitely the pick of the week was the Captain Action hardcover for me. It just brought back so many wonderful memories, and there he is. There's the captain himself there.
We have come to conquer this land, for it is a fruitful and ripe land, and we shall call it the land. I think we should call it your grave. Ah! Curse you for your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
We won't be seeing anything from Clyde for the rest of the night.
Well, that was it for you, everybody. Good night.
Captain Action was before Mego, yes.
I know the Migos had all the, you could
Marvel,
DC. And Mego went out and bought every single license they could get.
Right.
And except Mego, they passed on Star Wars for some reason, then it kind of put them out of business.
Yeah. But Mego, the guy that what is his name? I can't think of it. The guy that
I can't remember it.
The big wig. He got his start as part of the Ideal team too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He wanted to do more, and it ended before they had a chance to. They wanted to make villains for Dr. Evil, outfits where he could be the Joker, he could be Lex Luthor, he could be Brainiac.
They have some art. They have some mock ads.
Yeah.
And for like Captain Action breakfast cereal, Action Blasts.
Yep.
And a fan club. Yes, here we go. Dr. Evil uniform set, and it's going to be hard to see here, but Lex Luthor.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
See? And there is a thing here, CaptainAction.com. Check it out for all kinds of really cool stuff dealing with Captain Action. Now, Moonstone has been producing a Captain Action book, but it is not this.
It's
There have
more
been decent
focused.
stories.
They can't do all the stuff that they make him more like a spy character.
Right.
And Jim Beard wrote a novel where he's that spy character. Yeah, and I read the first one. It was really good. He did a nice job, but most of them are kind of a give and take. Sometimes he disguises. He has like these really cool disguises where he's other characters, but he's not the ones that we come to know or all the merchandising was connected to.
Yeah, Jim did a good job. That was through the old Kindle Worlds program where I got my start as a book writer doing the Bloodshot book. So anyway,
as a kid, I always thought, I saw a lot of parallels between Captain Action and Captain Marvel or Shazam later because they're both dealing with pantheons. But with Captain Action, he could choose three of these magic coins and put into his belt, and then he could have like the lightning powers of Zeus, the invulnerability of Atlas, the control of animals from maybe a South American deity.
Right, yeah.
And he could change those combinations. And his son Carl do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
The speed of Mercury or Hermes, great, but then the aquatic powers of Neptune.
Uh-huh.
Oh, And there was a never end. But then when Gil Kane took over, he simplified it down to being strong guy that's invulnerable, a kid that's very fast.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah, he did, but no, and I've been seeing also online on I think Facebook there's a page for Captain Action where people have photoshopped potential superheroes like Captain Marvel, the original Captain Marvel. So
well, they brought him back, playing Mantis back around 2000.
Yes.
Brought back a redo of the line, and they added a few. They brought back a lot of the ones that they could get merchandise licensing for, like the Phantom,
in the Green Hornet,
Flash Gordon, and Green Hornet, and they added a Kato, so they added to the line. They made a Kabai Sang for Dr. Evil,
right?
And what was the other one? Oh, Ming the Merciless,
right?
For Dr. Evil,
right?
So, but they the big licensing still eluded them, though, because they had plans to do Superman and Batman and a bunch of others, and it turned out a no-go. So,
and those boxes had some really nice Carmine Infantino art on them too, the new ones. So, so hopefully they can keep this going. Anyway, we've got more comments concerning the Amazonia cover earlier. Matthew McHale goes, "Ooh, cool," and Parallax Spectre goes, "Them thighs are thick." and extremely happy with the cover. Thanks so much, Joe, says Matthew McHale. You're very welcome, and you're lucky I didn't hijack your paid cover commission for myself, McHale. So we're seeing that fight now. And Matthew goes, "The thick thighs was my first thought, Parallax." And how about this, Parallax? I promise to use you a model and a piece of art in the future, says Matthew. And boys can play with dolls too. That's true.
That's right.
That's very true. I do have some Barbie dolls, like Wonder Woman and things like that. So, and Carl Westman goes, "Does that make Barbie and Action Friends action figures too?" Yes. It depends on what you do with them. And that's as far as I'm going with
my favorite commercial from the early 90s, actually mid 90s, I think it was 94, 95, when Nissan brought the Z back. They had a commercial with a remote control Z.
Yeah. Right.
And the Barbie house, but G.I. Joe like figure was driving the remote control car and it was playing Van Halen. And he picked him up, and picked her up, and Ken's crying. I love that commercial.
That was funny. That was funny.
Yeah.
And of course, Carl, says Donna Carlene. And although Ken isn't anatomically correct, it's not much.
He might be nowadays. There's no telling.
That's true. And we don't kink shame around here.
Well, there's adult versions of the Ken doll now.
That's true. That's true. And that's another, of course, Carl. And old time kid cereals. Yes, pure sugar. Love it. That's right. Yeah. And I remember the Kato Captain Action when I was little. Yes. And loved that Nissan ad. And the Z commercial is still the best commercial ever. So thank you, Lissy.
I even had it on a shirt.
Oh my God, yes. So that was my review, and of course, you have waited long enough. All the America and all the ships at sea. This is the moment you have, Mr. and Mrs. America and all the ships at sea. Anyway, here he is, the one, the only Mr. Clyde Hall with the review of the week. What you got for us, Clyde?
Okay. At the end of the month and the beginning, when it's the first, Wednesday lands on the first, sometimes you hit this. Everybody said there was just not much at the comic shop this week, and they're not wrong.
Thank God.
Yeah, well, yeah, because, at least it was easy on the pocketbook this week. But I did find the Naughty List 2, which is this that Santa as a curse thing. It was really good. It's really adult. It's really gritty. It's a noir Santa kind of thing, but it's very cool. Great second issue. Really a good follow up to the beginning. Brian Rodman had mentioned this one before.
Oh yeah.
8 billion genies. What if everybody suddenly got one wish?
Ooh.
Yeah, and it could all, they all would come true.
I'd wish for everybody else's wishes.
Well, I don't know. That might be, you might be able to do that, but I get the feeling, I don't know whether they didn't say anything. I've wondered if they would do that at the beginning, set it up as no wishing for multiple wishes, except they do specify it's not 3, It's not multiple. You get one wish. And they don't really explain why, but everybody has their own personal genie. And they are set here to give you one wish. And our introductory characters have a wide span, including most of it takes place in a bar. And the guy that runs the bar has a very interesting wish that affects everybody else's. So it's a really good first issue, very creative.
But it was a good wish because
yeah,
he was the only one left standing.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's just as magical and enchanting and as nightmarish as you could expect it would be. So very, very good.
Better than Wonder Woman 84?
Well, if you mean by nightmarish, maybe, I don't know. Similar concept. I got this one. This is a couple of weeks late, but Spectro. I don't like the size of the format, obviously, but Aftershock's been putting out some good stuff, and this is both written and drawn by Juan Doe, and I like his work. We have a very much kind of a Day of the Dead sort of a vibe going with a lot of color, but very macabre features and characters in this, because it's a kind of a Twilight Zone Night Gallery combo of 4 anthology stories, sci-fi horror, pretty much. I like Wando's art more than I like his writing, but it was still it's a beautiful, beautiful book. And just for the art alone, it's worth the cover price. So I found the stories to be a little bit predictable if you've read anthologies of sci-fi horror before. I was not too surprised, but he has this one Planetary Society. I really like that story with everybody that's got a planet head. And it was a good solid story to go with it. Let's see here. Oh, they had a variant cover, and one of the stories, the variant cover was a single panel from one of the stories. And I was hoping that would be the cover that I got, but that's not the one that they drew for me. So I didn't score this one, but I really like this image. He reminds me of the Scooby-Doo spooky, what was it? The spooky spaceman from Scooby-Doo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember his name. I drew him a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm also thinking of that one episode of Doctor Who in the library.
Oh yeah, I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, absolutely. But it's worth checking out. It is a $7.99 cover price, so and it is that weird. I wish they would not make it in that formatted that size. It's nice for the art, but it's sure hard to store it. So, but those were my good reads for this week.
And now,
what I've chosen, I did a feature for comics bookcase this week on something that just I fell into it because I love Golden Age heroes. I love to see them. Well, BKM was talking a little earlier about the Terror. That's Black Terror. He's a public domain character, I believe, right?
Right. Yeah.
And you're writing new stories about him.
Yes, I am.
So public domain characters, they're I always like seeing one brought back and done well. Sometimes they're brought back and updated and they're just awful. But I saw where a comic company brought out one that I had heard of and discounted because the name was so goofy. But it was called The Mysterious Microface #1. And I thought, Microface, I know that name. I went and looked it up. Oh yeah. It's not that he has a small face. This is a guy that has microphone technology from the 1943 when he was written, kind of making him like Airwave used to be for DC. He can channel certain sounds and audio and sonic things. He can use his gadgetry to tap into phone lines on the run, not actually tap into them, but the mask allows him to do this. So it's like a microphone face. Microface.
Oh.
Yeah. But after reading the abilities and stuff, I thought, this is a really interesting character. There have been many bigger characters made with much less potential, but he's very obscure. And I thought, well, who would bring this back? I mean, just the name alone. And if, who would do it and not change the name? And then that's when I stumbled into the whole, it's a podcast. And so that led me to do this feature article for Comics Bookcase, but not a review. I thought I will save my review and present it here because I think it's a project that might interest folks who are interested in the mechanics of making a comic book. If they wanted to tune into this free podcast and find out that I think they have five different editions of it that deal with different aspects of taking a public domain character and bringing him back and publishing a comic, which is what the Mysterious Microface #1 is all about. So if I'll give you the stats first, and then if Brian can prep, he's going to show some PDF pictures.
All right, ready when you are.
Well, let me do the intro here for him.
Of course.
The Mysterious Microface #1. It is an NPR Planet Money Comics Group product, $6.99 cover price, but that's for 48 pages. It is written by Alex Segura. Art is by Jamel Eigel. Colors by Ellie Wright. Letters by Taylor Esposito. And it is an all ages kind of title. All right, Brian, let's see what we got here. Okay, they also managed to get Jerry Ordway to do a cover. So one of the variants here is a Jerry Ordway cover, old-fashioned style with the NPR Planet Money Comics Group, A Hero Reborn, and they also James Eigel, or I'm sorry, Jamal Eigel, that did the interior art. They got him to do another cover, and here's the cover art for that. Brian, please.
This one?
Yep. I really have become a fan of Jamal Eigel ever since he did work with Ahoy Comics for The Wrong Earth. He's got a very clean style, and it's good for a hero that's a bit retro but also modern. He can do both very well. And I thought this combined the charm with a modern setting here. And just some selected panels from inside the book. Next one, please, Brian. This is where our hero, who is the grandson of the inventor that made the Microface identity and suit, finds out that he's inherited this newer prototype that his grandfather produced. Yeah, he's real excited. You can tell. He's not expecting this. Next one, please. Okay, the bad guy or girl in this case is Corporal Raider. And they are coming in and taking over with hostile takeovers of companies that were established around World War II and grabbing up all the things that they can find there, all kinds of patents and anything that's loose laying about, and giving everybody, their severance packages this cheaply made, inexpensive, but nonetheless stylish smock. They give everybody a hail and hearty handshake, including the guy that was about to retire, and say, hit the bricks, like all true villains would. And they just have a great time doing it. And one more. Okay, Eric, feast your eyes. Now this is some special effects fonting to drool over, I think. And
that's cool.
It is very cool. And Taylor Esposito is a great letterer, and I just thought he really pulled out all the stops for this issue, including this panel right here where our hero tries on the Microface mask, we call the Micro Mask, and decides to see if he can bring up a sonic screech with it. Yeah, he does a pretty good job. So let's get into the review here. And I'll explain. It's a comic book review, but there has to be some background about the podcast, or it won't make any sense for you. So just for clarification, while I write for various sites, this is my own independent feature, and it should not be considered representing any views of those other sites or the views of Comic Book Spectrum. So, is it a hands-on tutorial regarding the financial process of making a comic book? Or is it the resurrection of a unique Golden Age hero from public domain? Or is it a project 2 years in the making allied with a financial podcast? A study of all the marketing ploys, merchandising, and the branding that makes superhero characters attractive for film adaptations, perhaps? Well, most premiere issues don't combine all those things, But those are just some of the facets of the mysterious Microface #1. So this all started in 2019. Planet Money is a national public radio podcast on economy, culture, finance, and business. They were marveling in 2019 at the industry comic book-based movies, how big those things had become following the release of Avengers Endgame. And the discussion took place regarding the business of comics. And they decided to do a project in multiple parts and examine each one of them for their audience. The program tried to publish a comic and guide the audience along as they tackled everything from concept and copyrights and completion and merchandising. The ultimate goal was making something attractive enough for film rights option, which they would look at as the ultimate in, as far as a business, making money from a character. They were also going to try, and I thought this was it's a little tongue-in-cheek the way they did it, but I thought it was interesting. They were going to try and replicate many of the trends that make comics big sellers, from variant covers to a very exclusive, one-of-a-kind issue with rare pencil sketches signed by the artist, audio messages from Microface himself, and a stylish carrying case. Basically, they wanted it to be the most collectible comic of all time. So they were trying to see what speculator gimmicks that they could bring to bear into one package for a single comic called the original edition that they could sell and see how high it would go. So at least some of this feels like it was played for laughs. Especially those gimmicks, looking at the different speculator gimmicks. But as of this writing, the eBay auction listing of this one-of-a-kind Origins edition and parcel is $8,200. I think it was $8,300 earlier in the year. But now, I think somebody changed their bid. It's $8,200. It ends, I think, tomorrow sometime. And the eventual selling price, plus the revenue from all orders of the regular comic book available at their online site, go to NPR. You can find them on the NPR site if you wanted to look at one, buy one. Now, I've not listened to the podcasts, but it sounds like an enjoyable experience for this team. They seem to have a lot of fun doing it, and it's been an educational process for them. Beginning with, their initial plan was to use Doorman. They were going to go into Marvel Comics and license their most obscure, not used hero called Doorman, part of the Great Lakes Avengers at one time.
Oh, that Doorman. Okay.
How much could it cost?
Too much.
Yeah, because the Marvel folks pointed out to them that Groot was no big deal until he was in the movies. And then, you can't touch licensing for him because licensing ties up characters where they can't be used. So they were looking at about like $10 million for a Doorman licensing.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking with artists and writers and industry insiders to get their feet on the ground for this project. And I think it was Alex Segura, the writer, that said, why don't you just do a public domain hero? And they're like, you can do that? He goes, yeah, it doesn't cost anything. And then you start off, not having to do a license. So they went with Microface. That was part of the Hillman periodicals lineup, and the character premiered in Clue Comics #1 back in 1943. He was inventor Tom Woods, who made various wonder gadgets based on audio electronics, including speakers and amplifiers, and as the name indicates, microphones, part of his mask and headgear. With his micro mask, Tom could fight crime by making his voice a withering sonic blast. He could spy on underworld operatives with sensitive long-range microphone pickups. He could see through walls with photoelectric lenses that were some form of sonar. And he could mimic voices, and he could throw them like a super ventriloquist, creating all kinds of confusion. Well, to the Planet Money folks, who were their podcasters and radio personalities, having a hero that used a microphone was perfect. So they decided they chose him, and every step of the process they made into an episode to show how they were going to bring back this Golden Age hero in a new and updated iteration. So, opening story. NPR financial reporter Sam Salazar uncovers a series of corporate raids on 1940s era manufacturing companies, including one founded by his grandfather, He finds this out on air. He's like, "Oh, that's my grandpa's company." Tom Wood. In typical takeover fashion, employees are fired and offices are cleared. In atypical fashion, though, rather than sell the companies and go public with them or dismantle their acquisitions and proceed with asset stripping, Golden Age private equity, as the Raiders, seems to be sitting on what is usually a cash grab for some fast reimbursement on their purchase price. They're not selling the things to anybody. Salazar and his fellow reporter, Amina, discover that each of the raided companies were founded by inventors with breakthrough technology. Amina has been working on a feature of her own about the mostly forgotten massed adventures of the 1940s. Superheroes in this world seem kind of a fad that happened around World War II and then died out. Well, she helped Sam determine that these companies were founded by men likely using offshoots for their tech from crime fighting. The inference is that they wouldn't merchandise that tech, but they would use an offshoot of it. Like Tony Stark would not use the Iron Man armor to sell, but he might make an unloading heavy cargo exoskeleton rather than a battle suit and make profits from that. So Sam suddenly gets a delivery, a package prepped by his late grandfather in case things such as the Golden Age equity raiding took place. And suddenly he's in possession of the uniform and gear his grandfather used as the mystery man Microface. As Sam digs deeper into the mystery, it'll take more than just investigative journalism to deal with this evil. Evil is afoot once more, and a new Microface is needed, one who will fight the good fight once again. So, the good. We got that variant cover by Jerry Ordway, and the Jamal Igle regular cover I think is equally cool. The protagonist is a very positive take on a regular modern guy, just a regular guy trying to do the right thing because it is the right thing, and because that's the way he was raised. His grandfather would approve of how Sam proceeds, and it's very refreshing having a hero with this level of everyman integrity and nobility. They don't overdo it. He's a regular guy. He doesn't want to be a guy that puts on a mask and goes out and does it, but he feels a responsibility to these corporations that are these companies that are being taken over by this big corporation. The creative team honors the original artist and the creator of Microface. Now, this really made me happy. That would be the late Alan Ulmer. Alan Ulmer had a career as a commercial artist. He worked for most of the big companies, but he also did work for smaller companies like Hillman. One of the characters in issue 1 is drawn in his likeness. Ulmer felt Microface always had more potential than he was realized, and the Planet Money folks, they even reached out to his daughter to tell her about their project and see if they could get the family's approval in how and what they were producing. And they got that. And they acted with more class than big companies, comics companies sometimes do in this, and in the handling of the character in a way that I think Ulmer would really have loved. The retro tech of Microface, it's got modern day applications that I thought were very interesting. Like I mentioned Airwave earlier. That's a Golden Age character that has ties to Hal Jordan's Green Lantern. His gadgetry might also be updated. He was updated in the comics in the same way that Microfaces could be, I think. Or like Microwave Man. 1978, Superman had this villain. He had harnessed microwave energies back in 1930s, and he called himself Microwave Man. And he was not a very successful villain, and he quit because microwave, he could make things a little hot. He could do a few things he could blast stuff with his microwave, but not very much. There wasn't enough microwave power to draw upon. 1978, he's an old man, but he fires up his tech, and you know what? There's a whole lot of microwave power. He's a major powerhouse because of the use of microwave technology. So if the MicroMask was like a 1940s Bluetooth, capable of tapping phone lines and making calls on them on the run, how could it be adapted to a world of Wi-Fi communication and bandwidths today? I think with the right kind of tech character, he could become a very, very powerful character. Jamal Igle's art is always a plus for me. That Wrong Earth at Ahoy, if you haven't seen it, you need to go check out The Wrong Earth, the first series. He does 1966 Batman world, turns right around and does 1990s gritty and bloody, violent world, and then switches characters so that you have one of one in different setting and the other one in the other setting. And his style in doing it is perfect for that. And we see that here again with an old-fashioned character with flashbacks in the modern version of him. To me, he's an aesthetic blend of Kevin Maguire and Alan Davis, but adding his own style to the whole mix. So we have Bright and Bouncy Colors by Ellie Wright, which is a good fit because not all evil happens in dark alleys and warehouses. Some of it's in very well-lit corporate boardrooms. And Taylor Exposito, you saw that one page is like the crowning achievement for this book, but he's got great sound effects, fonts through the whole thing. And with a sonic-powered hero, you'd want that, so he brings that. The bad. Okay. Story-wise, there's a bit of confusion regarding exactly how the Golden Age private equity group intends profiting from the old tech that they're chasing. In the aforementioned businesses and the financial instruction part of the story, which is necessary, I get it, but it's murky. It's not real clear-cut. I'm not an economist, so maybe that's on me, but I wanted something a bit more clear-cut, an explanation of the profit source specifically. They do make a mention of one, but that's problematic because they're talking about old villains maybe buying it. These guys would be in their 90s if they're still around at all. Yeah, I know that villains can be more immortal. They don't have to have the regular lifespan, but it just seemed to be going maybe a bridge too far. And the cover price. Okay, it's 48 pages. That's nice. But I think that at $6.99, you're going to keep away casual readers that would be interested, but not that interested. Also, the $6.99 cover price and that one auction we talked about, that supports NPR, not a new and more ongoing, possibly, indie creating company, comic book company, and a creator. And I think some people would have problems donating to NPR rather than a company that they want to see flourish as just an exercise. So that eBay auction, like I said, $8,200. I checked it this afternoon before the show. So as far as I know, that's where it's at. Now that's got everything from those variant covers to signed autographed pieces. They have parts from an original Clue Comics microface appearance back in the 40s, all in a foam-lined briefcase container. I'm very curious to see how it does in the next 24 hours, where it actually ends up. But in short, though, they handled the reimagining of a Golden Age character very well. They paid a lot of attention to how they wrote the story to make him both modern, but also true to the original concept and the creator. And if a clarion call for justice sounds today, here it comes. Across 80 years of history, a hero once again delivers the death knell to crime in triple-digit decibels in full surround sound. My score for the Mysterious Microface #1. Even though it's not everybody's cup of tea, I really enjoyed it. 7 out of 10.
Very good. Very good. Sounds interesting.
It was. And, I may have to go listen to these podcasts because I figure if nothing else, we have people that, like Brian, that work on public domain characters. We got people that want to know about, like, if they're just starting. I could imagine from this creative team, they may get some insights if they're just starting out and they're wanting to make a comic of their own.
Right.
They could learn a lot of stuff from the show.
Yeah.
So.
Very good. Very
now,
good.
I was confused about the character, especially when you said the name of the book. I just assumed the made his face small.
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking.
I don't know what kind of hero that is.
And they did that in the comic. Everybody goes, because he's got a small. No, it's a microphone technology. Oh, okay. And
where my inadequately sized justice?
Also, I think it was maybe Alex Segura when he said, "Did you decide on a public domain character?" And they said yes. He's got microphones as his base. We're all broadcasters, so we like this. He's like, great, who is it? And they said, Mysterious Microface. And he goes, oh, that's an unfortunate name. but they wanted to be true to the concept of the character, so they went with it anyway. So, a lot of class.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, we've got some other comments here. Going back to earlier, Wonder Woman 84 is worse than going into labor for 54 hours with no epidural, says Parallax Spectre.
Yeah.
So tell us, did you like it or did you not?
Don't mince your words. Tell us the truth. Give us a straight
Yeah,
truth
don't
here.
hold back. And Matthew McGill says, I didn't hate Wonder Woman 84. And Carl Wiston says, fascinating mesh of podcast and comic, and it makes a lot of sense, since so much of, comics, all media are multimedia now, and
Now,
it just makes a lot of sense. And the fact that it's aiding public broadcasting is a plus.
Now, if you look on their website at NPR, they've also got merchandising. They're testing the merchandising waters.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's part of one of their podcasts is here's what it costs us to make t-shirts. Here's what it costs us to make mugs. And you have these things for sale over there.
Yeah.
So, they're wanting, I understand that they are hoping to take it and put it for distribution in a wider venue than just on the website to basically have, Diamond or somebody listed and see how the sales go.
Right.
So
I can understand that. And both Segura and Eagle have both experience with mainstream comics.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. And Parallax Spectre wants that book now. And darn you, cool shirt, Clyde. That's the one.
Well, the work is done. Yes.
See, that's the one thing, Parallax Spectre. None of us have gotten wealthy off of this broadcast. Not only because, there we go. He's stroking his Dr. Evil.
I am
stroking that big 10-inch.
in front of
Dr.
God
Evil.
and everybody. Yeah.
That's right.
8.5 inch Dr. Evil.
Oh, 8.5. Okay.
No, 12 inch Dr. Evil.
Yeah, that's that's never mind. No, and I'm thinking the old Aerosmith song, "Suck on My Big 10-inch," record of the band that plays the blues. But anyway,
the 12-inch Dr. Evil with the exposed brain.
Ew. Anyway, but no, none of us are getting wealthy because we keep recommending comics to each other and we keep buying them. So yeah, and my wife and I have had several discussions about cut it the hell out, and I say discussion, by that I mean I sit there and nod my head and don't say a word. So anyway,
what I got an answer for you. Next time you go to the comic shop, just take pictures with your phone of all the covers and just do a review of the covers.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cookie will be happy. You've saved a lot of money.
That's true. That's true.
And you definitely didn't get anything you didn't want.
You could kill 2 hours in the dynamite section alone.
No joke. No kidding. Yeah, well, and the thing is, this still would have won because this is a great cover. So anyway, Parallax Spectre continues. I don't have any more room. Shakes this at all of you. We feel the love. We do feel the love, and I understand. I'm having to downsize my collection because it's taking up too much room. So I'm shopping around, to get rid of like my Disneys, because I've got like almost all of the was it Gladstone, Gemstone. Super Goop. There we go.
Yeah. I did pick this up in the old. It's the Whitman instead of Gold Key. It's the Whitman.
Oh yeah.
But I hadn't read a Super Goof in years. I just had to read. I just had to get it.
Those are fun.
Yeah,
I've got a couple of those. I like those. Very cool. Very cool. So and anyway, Parallax Spectre says this cover has nothing to do with the inside, and look at all these waves. Darn you, Marvel.
Yeah.
Well, we've had some discussions about how a lot of comic books now, the covers have little to nothing to do with the interior. In fact, I'll even look at some of the ones I reviewed tonight. This is kind of a symbolic cover, you could say, but there's this scene. I gotta say, this happened like 85 years ago. So this scene here. So whereas this kind of happened on We Have Demons. So it depends. Superman has been really bad about having they're beautiful posters, but they have not one dang thing to do with what's going on between the covers. So anyway, what have we got? Donna Carleen says downsize. What's that word mean, Carl? And Carl says cover your ears, Donna. It's a word Cookie taught me. It's usually accompanied by right now. But anyway, so did anybody hear anything fascinating this week in comics?
No, I'm still getting over my rant because I saw some more videos talking about some of the stuff that I mentioned, and I'm still getting ticked off about it because if you're not investing or doing that aspect of it, it still comes off as when so what when it's not affecting the buying populace like they think it would.
Yeah. Well, I think most people aren't buying them. I think they're buying them to read, which is the way it should be. They should be reading them on the toilet the way they were intended to be. So,
no, we're talking about
play games on the toilet with my phone.
Books.
What are you talking about?
These are the slab books, and I just don't. I in a way, I kind of wish that they would not make the generalization that everybody wants to move in that direction.
Oh no, you can't say that. Really, because we used to talk back in the Nixon administration. We used to talk about the silent majority, and as far as I'm concerned, I think the most people are just buying these things to read them. And yes, they'll store them. Yes, they'll buy bags. Yes, they'll take care of them in the hopes that they will accrue in value. But most of the time, they're not. They're not going to accrue in value for the most part. So,
and that's the thing. It's like people are now coming out buying these slab books because of this book is now going to have a television show. The demand is out there for a select number of buyers or collectors for that type of stuff. And one inconvenience, and now you're throwing this you're throwing this one grading company up under the bus. And like I said in my show last week, caveat emptor. You have access to that certification number. You could look it up in the notes. Just because you're getting lazy and wants to see how big of a tear it is and all this other stuff, guess what? Don't slab it.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, don't take pictures of it. Scan it. That way you see everything. So.
I mean, it is what it is. It's like the whole purpose of graded books is for archival purposes. It's not really truly for resale. Yes, you could get resale value out of it, but it's really for archival purposes.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, if somebody wanted to give me $1,700 for my Wonder Woman 98, we'd talk. But other than that, Carl Witzman is saying, good show, guys. I need to head over to Stupid O'Clock now. Have a great evening, Carl. Thank you for being here, fella. And Donna, we will see you tomorrow morning on Never Mind the Furthermore, I'm sure. So, a couple other comments here real quick. Parallax Spectre says, don't get me started on the 4,711 variant covers from Marvel that are gorgeous, and the inside art is meh, and the stories are worse. I miss Jack Kirby every damn day, Parallax. Me too. And, the dude bro mentality. We've discussed this, McFee. And Parallax Spectre, wholeheartedly agree, Mr. Joe. And Matthew McHale says, I collect books I like, not for investment. Same with me.
Me too.
Yeah, if they happen to go up in value, that's nice. But then again, you have to realize also, unless you sell those books yourself, you're not going to get that price.
No.
I talked to a dealer one time back in the 80s who told me, I will give you, at the time, for Fantastic Four, I would give you 80% of the Overstreet value in cash, so long as the guy buying it is standing at the other end of the counter. So, a lot of people just see that right-hand column in the Overstreet or whatever guide they're using and think that that is the absolute value.
There is no more Overstreet. It's only eBay, and you have to
pretty much.
Pretty much. Like I'm up here looking at all these different sites where it's like for graded books, they have analysis of what fair market value is at in these days, and people are looking at those prices to price raw books, and that's like, no, you can't do that. It's
No.
not a 1-to-1.
Yeah, it's
Look,
for graded books.
5.5 may be another person's 2.0.
Yeah.
You have to wait until after it's graded, and then after you get it graded, you have to look at what's fair market value. A lot of people pricing their books over fair market value, and they have no clue whatsoever because they see one person is able to buy it, bought it for $800. That means my 9.8 going to cost $800. Like, no, it's not like that.
Yeah.
Never been like that.
Exactly. Parallax Spectre continues. How do you four fellows feel about Key Collector? Also, Overstreet is the gold standard, period. I would agree with you about Overstreet. The only problem with Overstreet is it's not like comic book prices change only once a year. And for a while, Overstreet was putting out a monthly update back in the 90s. I was an advisor for that, actually. And back when I was running my back issue sales outfit. But Key Collector, is that something different? Now, I haven't bought an Overstreet.
That's an app that's out there where they speculate what books are going to be hot from week to week to week to week based on speculation.
Yeah, I have heard of that then. Yes, Wizard 2.0. Pretty much. And I think of Wizard and I think of the market crash of the 90s. So
never been to Key Collector. I don't know.
I have not either.
Not in my. I mean, I'm very much the school of, if I like it, I want to support this creative team's work.
Me too.
If they're doing good work, I want to support them. Even if it's not a comic book that is near and dear to my heart, if it's good, maybe it's for a different generation. Maybe it's a character that I'm like lukewarm about, but the quality is very high and they're working together as a really good team. Yeah, I'll buy that just to give them the revenue from it, and hope that they do more like that. And I've got on my rack out there, I got the first appearance of Lobo. Not because I tracked it down. I just happened to have it, and I was like, oh, that's the first appearance of Lobo. I'll set it up here. Someday you will be sold, probably, because it's just he's not my favorite character, but I do have it. It's not a thing, I told a few people and they're like, "Woo, you're so lucky." I'm like, that's nice. It's a very well read cut. It's not slabbed and it's not graded, but I value. I think I got the first appearance of Black Orchid.
Adventure Comics,
I like those kind of things. It's nice to have the first appearance of somebody, but I don't go chasing them normally. So Captain Action was the exception. I got all those.
Right.
So.
Right.
But that's the key thing.
I don't have to.
Exactly. But that's the key thing. You buy what you like. Key Collector is like, oh, this is what the trend is. You can make money by doing X, Y, and Z and following this advice and buying this grading and then trying to flip it. And they don't understand that flip is a tough sell. You have to know who likes what and get around that crowd. Unless you like that type of stuff yourself, it serves no purpose.
Exactly. Well, Parallax Spectre continues. They list the most random things like Superman's new boots. Hot. Well, that's been happening for 30 years now. Post Wizard magazine mentality. And I happen to know, because I knew several people that were advisors. They owned shops and were advisors to the price guide there. And when they would hear that, say, somebody was getting their own title. Well, if they had a first appearance, way in the past, suddenly that issue and those related to it suddenly went up in price.
Yeah.
Simply because a lot of these dealers were holding on to those books. So, like, let's say X-Force, for instance. Okay, that's going to get published. Everybody's like, oh, Rob Liefeld, he's so wonderful. This is going to sell a crap ton of comics. And it did. Millions of comics. But then everybody went back to New Mutants 87 and said, well, here's where the current cast of X-Force really got together. Because before that, X-Factor was pretty much the original X-Men lineup. in its various iterations. But, that's where the speculators came in and said, okay, this is coming out. So all the stuff that has come before is now valuable. Okay. Same thing happened recently with Moon Knight, so anyway,
No complaints there.
well, there we go.
Well deserved. Yes.
My Walgreens exclusive pop, which was $9, and you could usually find it on clearance for $3, is now. I could sell him probably for about $120 today.
Ooh, nice.
Very cool. Very cool.
And like I said,
Comic-wise, I haven't looked at anything.
That's not truly driven up by demand. That's just driven up by speculation.
Right.
And that's the key difference. Everybody thinks speculation is demand. It's like, no, that's not true demand. That is.
Well, that one is by demand because the pop prices do go off of sales history. So it takes an average of all the ones they can find that have sold, what they sold for, and that's how the price is calculated on those.
Yeah. And eBay now has a feature where you can see what prices have been realized for that rather than what somebody is asking for.
Yeah, you can search something and just look at what has sold, and you can look at the prices.
Yeah.
And I talked about that in my show, and a lot of people don't go to that feature, nor do the average of it to get the fair market value.
Yeah,
exactly.
A lot of people are too lazy. That's why I say it's caveat emptor.
See, speaking of eBay,
yes,
the mysterious microface number 1 is now $8,800.
Excellent.
With about 24 hours left to go. So
I'm with you, Matthew. I'm with you.
Also, let me hasten to say, as far as the speculation trends and stuff, I don't do that, but I know we have some buyers in our area that the local comic book shop, who does not stick the prices higher, it's cover price. If they can get extras and order for the speculation folks, they're just very careful to not make it so that they're the only ones that get a copy of this issue. But that keeps them in business, and with an economy as tight as it is right now, I'm happy that they have people that want to speculate and buy extra things that he might not move otherwise. That's fine, as long as we have a very reputable LCS. So there's not going to be a chance that, hey, I pre-ordered it, but I don't get mine because Billy Bob over here snatched them all up before I came in.
Right.
Not going to happen,
Right.
So I have nothing against if people want to try the speculation thing. They are supporting the industry.
True.
That's fine.
That's honest speculation.
Yes.
The problem that I have is dishonest speculation.
Right. No, it's different. Yes.
Book comes out last Wednesday. This upcoming Wednesday, that LCS has it at $40. Why? Because of that speculation and what they perceive as fair market value based upon unsubstantiated fair market value based upon what people are paying for it on eBay. That Overstreet guide price is not current enough.
Right.
To keep the overly speculated books down.
Well, in a lot of cases, if somebody starts looking around and say the LCS marks their stuff way up, whereas let's say they market here, but the true market value is here. People that are buying at this price are going to build up resentment towards that shop. Is the thing. Unfortunately, sometimes it also means they build it up against the entire hobby, which is, again, then we get back to the 90s where you had people buying it on a Wednesday and then on Friday they're trying to cash it in. Yeah. And when they can't, then they say, well, screw this whole thing. I'm going to turn my attention to something else. Yeah, exactly.
And there goes the trading card and comic industry.
And the Beanie Babies and the ball card industry. It's for a while, it was like every 2 years, it was like this cycle of somebody, this shadow cabal, deciding, okay, this is now collectible. They start trading between themselves. The word gets out. By the time we hear about it, the trend's over. Because then the companies are going to be gearing up production. And for a while, production will keep ahead of demand. And it's supply and demand. It's pure supply and demand. But eventually, the companies will be raising their output, their print runs, whatever, their manufacturing runs, and then people are going to come up here, and they'll meet. But the problem is then you have, since the publishers are working 2 months behind the orders, their production is still going to keep going up. And suddenly now there's plenty of product. It's no trouble getting it. And the people who are flipping it have a problem now because, okay, I could go in on Friday after, the Wednesday shipment and get my money back and then some. But now my LCS can get as many copies of that book as they want, and they don't need me. Mm-hmm. And so, but then again, then you have, for a couple of months, you have an overproduction. And then when people start dropping out of the collecting cycle or the accumulation cycle, suddenly there is a vast amount of product, but only a shrinking amount of people who want it. And you're always going to have your hardcore collectors, who want it because, like they love Moon Knight or whatever. But
Moon Knight!
See? Like Eric.
Well, hey, I make my own merchandise for Moon Knight.
There we go. Yes, he's got a printer. we just lost Clyde.
But
Sorry, Clyde.
To your point, Brian, this is what grinds my gears, and it makes me wonder why this particular aspect of the comics community is so messed up. Mm-hmm. When you think about that number one issue has like a print run. Now, if you add all the different variants, that number one has a finite number of copies on first print.
Right.
Now, as that, like you said, after that the man comes in and meets, and now all of a sudden it's like now there's more people. It's like eventually it's going to be more people than what was actually printed. So that second printing gets there. That third printing gets there. Mm-hmm. By the time that fourth printing gets there, and the demand is above where everything is at, here's the problem.
Yeah.
That fourth printing, according to nowadays, is outdoing in value than that first printing that was down here, only because that fourth printing has a shorter print run because it was just enough to meet demand. And that to me is wrong. It's just so wrong. And they just using variant covers in that same way. That 1 in 100 cover, because it's so limited, a person will buy it for maybe $40 and then try to go out to eBay to flip it for $300.
Yeah.
And then you got people who buy it at $300 thinking that, oh, I got the greatest deal since sliced bread, try to hold on to it, and they find out that that volume falls like a lead balloon.
Yeah.
Because again, when you look at the totality of the number of copies of that issue one, it doesn't make a difference unless you are a diehard collector of an artist or a particular, inker or colorist. Then that means that yes, that value has a personal you have a personal stake in that, and you have what I consider emotional value applied to it. So that kind of balances it out. But as far as the investing aspect of it, to making your money back, that's a bad deal. And a lot of these, I won't say LCSs per se, but it's just particular vendors that's on that investor level. Because I don't blame people for making their money however they want, but when you get into that investor's mentality, whenever you create that false demand, you're asking for trouble. It's almost getting to that level of insider trading.
That's true. Clyde, are you having trouble with your signal there?
Oh, hit the 817 mark of, your internet's out.
Oh, crap.
No.
Oh, your internet's out again. That's bad. Oh, no, your internet's out.
Oh, dear.
That just seems like about 8 o'clock, between 8 and 8:30. If it's going to happen, that's when it does.
There you go. Well, let's get some quick comments in from Parallax Spectre. Says you have me now, Mikhail, so you're a smarter customer and a Joe McFee fan because of me. Humble brag. And that's right, Ms. Sunstrider. You take care of me, and it's appreciated. Parallax says, Grim 1 to add to your point, Joe. Yep. And Matthew McHale is so sick of number ones all the time. Unfortunately, that's what people are still buying. So, although I can see it in the case, like in case of story arcs, like a book 2 sort of thing. I can see that. Now, emotional value, asks Parallax Spectre. What's that, Joe? I'm supposed to read these books? Madness. I only buy to sell to dude bros that drool over a cover. And your shirt is... You continue being the problem, Parallax, and more power to you.
She's being sarcastic.
I figured, yeah. I figured.
And
And Parallax says, your shirt is too cool for the interwebs, Clyde.
It keeps knocking us off the air, though. That's the problem.
That's
I
right.
mean.
Sure. Calm it down, sure. Calm it down. But no, that's the thing. And unfortunately, like the Bible says about the poor, these speculations, as an ex-friend used to call them, will always be with us. And it is an unfortunate thing for those of us who are into it for the stories or for the characters. But then again, I'm not exactly selling my Carl Barks Disneys for a cover price either. So, but that's another thing. So, anyway,
to make another side point is in a certain person happy, they came in today. The stuff that from Greenland Comics came in today.
Ah, okay.
So that's what you kind of hear in the background a little bit earlier where I muted my mic.
Okay, I was wondering. I was wondering what that crackling was. So it's all good. It's all good.
That plus now Glenn B. Fleming could be proud of me now because I got
lettered. Oh, good for you. Good for you. That's fancier than the one I bought. Of course, I bought mine back in the 80s.
It's like it got the booklet up in here, and in between it is the actual lettering guide tool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But is it yellow due to age already?
No, this is a brand new. You see it fresh in the package.
I don't think they still make them. That's got to be 30 years old.
Then mine would be green.
I probably threw mine away about 6 years ago.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah, and I still had my drafting brush because I had all that stuff from drafting actually. Right. So, but I do have some nice pins that if I don't use them on a regular basis, I have to soak them in alcohol for 3 weeks.
Yeah. I know what this is, right?
Masking tape?
No, not masking tape. It's drafting tape.
Oh, okay, tape. Right. I don't see the fibers in it. Okay, you're right. You're right.
So that's drafter's tape. I still use drafter's tape to hold down my Bristol boards and stuff like that.
The old-fashioned way. Good man. Good man. You're right. Glenn would be proud of you.
My drafting arm. I still had a drafting arm, but it needed repair. I mean, it was an old one. It came with my drafting desk here. This is from the 50s that I used to draw. It's an old school drafting desk.
Before we moved from Illinois, I had a drafting desk, because I used to draw. I still have my T-squares.
Ooh,
they make great back scratchers.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to play air guitar,
there's times I wish I still had my drafting machine. I in school I loved it. I never had one at home until I bought this or got this table. Then this one didn't work anyway. But man, move that around and adjust it, and you had the squares on it. I was like, oh yeah. I love that. Yeah. But now I do mostly everything digital, so it doesn't matter.
The price.
Except I did a commission for Russell Allen.
Oh yeah, really?
For his character.
Uh-huh.
When I launched my campaign, he asked me if I could do a 11x17 full color traditional of his character. I'm like, yeah, sure. And I finished that up this week, and I'm going to give it to him soon.
Nice.
Yeah, it's I don't think I had ever colored a full 11x17 picture by hand. I'm starting to run out of marker. I'm like, oh, come on. I can hear it squeaking. I'm like, no, keep going.
That's funny. Well, maybe Russell will show up at Heroes for Kids Con.
Yeah, he's going to be there. He's
is he? Good.
Yeah, I believe he's got a table again. So.
Oh, good. I will be there as well.
Show us anyway.
Yeah. So we're gonna have fun down in Perryville, Missouri. So y'all come see us now. Yeah. So
bring your poker chip and you can get a free sketch.
Unless you're related to Eric.
True. Very true.
If you have even a scrap of shared DNA with Eric, you cannot get a sketch. That's what I'm hearing. So
Yep.
we've been at this for almost 2.5 hours.
Ooh.
So I think it's time because Eric, what are you going to be? Let's see. You mentioned earlier that Drawn and Quartered.
Cthulhu bunnies.
Cthulhu bunnies. Yeah.
Don't accept anything less. Ask for them by name.
So it should be fun. I know some of the artists are out. I mean, like I think one had a wedding. She's out of town. I mean, when she does great work. That's Gabrielle Geske. That we don't have the prints for that yet. Actually, one of her pieces from Drawn Quarter, I'm making a print for all the backers.
Oh yeah,
it was so beautiful. I loved it. Yeah, a couple of them. One got called into work. Hal, he's a great artist too. He's the one who did that Atrocity, that book with the animals having sex and cursing and all that.
Oh, that one.
I reviewed, yeah. So he got called into work. I hate that. Those two are real fun on the show, so it's a shame.
That's cool.
But we still have plenty of artists on there, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, sounds like fun. So definitely check that out. It's Drawn and Quartered. Was it Ultimate Edition tonight?
Yeah, we call it the Ultimate Edition. That's the only edition. Mike S. Miller quit having his edition because he's too busy doing NFTs. So we don't know why he's doing it anymore. He just doesn't even have a show anymore. So, because the winner of our show would usually get to go over there, and in my case, always beat the crap out of him. But now, we just whoever wins, we win. I guess we get bragging rights. That's about it.
There you go. Priceless, totally priceless.
And lately, a lot of the creators of the books that have come on, they've got some art out of us too.
That's great.
Nice.
I have got from when they did my book for I think 12 drawings.
Nice.
That will be in the trade. Yeah, of characters.
Very cool. Very cool.
That is extremely cool.
That is. And Parallax Spectre says, still sealed. And Matthew McHale says, there we go. Then there's a group of people that drool over thick girl covers. I wouldn't know who you're talking about. And I posted Reese pictures on Facebook. Dad, there's more if you need reference.
I am actually every day chasing a rabbit out of the zucchini in the backyard. Today, he jumped out and scared me.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
So this is like the talk of rabbits
Eric
too?
had his own Peter Cottontail.
Yeah. No, it's funny. So we got the pool up this week. But before we did that, had the ground cleared out, and the rabbit was on the far side.
Right.
And we have 2 Yorkie poos. They went out the back door. They saw him. They split around the pool to go after him. He still outran them. But still, then yesterday they were running around the pool, chasing him around the pool until he got out the gate.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, until I get some pellets from the pellet rifle. Then it'll be over.
Yeah.
And then it would be rabbit stew.
Yeah. No, you can't eat them until after the first frost because it kills the worms.
Yeah, there you go. See, you gotta time it just right. So
yeah, well, I'm not gonna wait that long. He got to go if I want some zucchini.
There you go. And the dogs flanked him. Nice. Yeah. See, they're tired of putting up with that rabbit crap. They got organized there. So, tell you what, we're gonna tell everybody where they can find all of us. We'll start with Clyde since he's got the most tenuous internet here. We'll go around the room then, and Clyde, start us off. How can people keep up with your amazing exploits?
Well, you can keep up with me. Psych.
Don't do that.
Oh. Stop
Brian Rodman experience.
Yeah.
Nothing but an uncanny simulation.
I'm Clyde Hall, independent author and contributing writer. You can follow me on Facebook at Clyde Hall or Radiating Positive Vibes with author Clyde Hall. On Twitter at CJ Hall 1984. And probably at the end of any trail of breadcrumbs, if I'm working through my lunch break and only have a ham and Swiss sandwich for my company. I do weekly comic reviews again at 2 online sites, Doom Rocket, and also at Comics Bookcase. Doom Rocket is www.doomrocket.com, and Comics Bookcase, www.comicsbookcase.com, all one word, all lowercase for both of them. And I'm at Stargate Press, where, as Brian said earlier, you can experience the new pulp fiction excellence of things like Tim Bruckner's Major Marjorie anthologies. It's a retro cool collection. of spicy sci-fi adventures centered on Major Marjorie, radio drama celebrity by day, space siren defender of the Earth all the time. Find it on Amazon along with all 3 volumes of the previously mentioned Pulp Reality 1, 2, and 3, or go to our website, www.stormgatepress.com.
Beautiful. And we have a comment on you. Karma got you, Clyde.
I did. Yep, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Clyde.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, glad to have you anytime. And here he is, Joe D. McFee. Joe, how can people keep up with you?
Well, the easiest way is just to follow that link that's right there on the screen. That Linktree link symbol that has everything, including how to get to the YouTube channel, where I'm at on DeviantArt, even the account that I have on Reddit and LinkedIn. All of it is there. And please don't forget about the crowdfunding campaign for Amazonia #7. You can get to it right there. Even as we speak here, we're still trying to reach 2,000. We're almost at 1,500. We're at $1,367 here. Another $133. We're at 1,500, and another $633. We at the $2,000 mark, and a new variant book is unlocked and you will get it for free here. So if we hit $2,000, there's a guarantee for that. Also, I talked to Elaine Haygood. The alternate cover for issue #7 that's going to be given to everybody is still in the works here. She's almost done with it. So as soon as I see it, I'm going to start showing it. There's going to be in an update, and we might use it in advertisements like I've been doing with other stuff here. So always check, my Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr for those ads if you're interested in those one panel ads that I've been doing as of late.
All right.
2 of them.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Joe.
Not a problem.
All right. And here he is, the zombie slayer himself. Oh,
sorry.
I've seen this before. Oh, and by the way, Lissy said that's the only way you're getting rabbit stew.
Well, you can find me anywhere on social media. Just go check my name. But go out and back Joe's book on Kickstarter. I mean, he's got 18 days left, but it's probably 17 days here in about 30 minutes, right, Joe?
No. Well, yeah, about 30 minutes.
So it'll kick over to probably about 17 days. So yeah, you only got 17 days. So you better go get it now.
Yep.
Get them up to 2,000. And, well, you're already funded, so I'm definitely going to get my books. So.
Yep.
But I want more books. So go out there and do that. If you see me sharing a link for another Kickstarter campaign, it is for Obsidian. It is a 56-page book about a future dystopian society with people with superpower, abilities. I won't say superpowers. Check that out. It's by the people that did Vestry, or the artists that did Vestry, and the writer is in New Zealand, a friend of mine, and I will be fulfilling that book for them when it funds. Hopefully, it funds, and they get some money. It is the writer's first attempt at writing, and I've read the story. Then it's good. I liked it. It's really good. I was surprised. But if you see me share that, I mean, it's a pre-launch page. They don't launch for another 2 weeks or so. I told them they should do that a month ahead, but they didn't listen to me. So anyway, they got 2 weeks. 2 weeks for a pre-launch, and they go live. Book's completely done, 100% done. So they just need to get funding when it launches, and it'll be a good book, definitely.
Excellent. Thank you, Eric.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right.
Hi, everybody.
And now I'll take over the screen here, and we've got some more comments from Ace Bonnie. Good to see you. Producer in my ear said wrap it up. That's what we're going to do now. And he believes we're going to hit 2,000. I believe it too. Let's make this happen for Joe, okay? And if you see Eric Hawkins, run. That's good advice anyway. Anyway, I'm Brian K. Morris. If you want to find out what I'm about, I'm an author, editor, publisher, but I do it all at risingtide.pub, where you can find links to my Patreon site. Also, you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter there, where I tell you where all my personal appearances will be, which, by the way, the next couple I'm doing this weekend, I will be at Indie PopCon. It's a 3-day show starting tomorrow. I'll be there Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. with Amy Hale and Molly Daniels and some other really wonderful people. I'm going to get the Leonard Pig as one of them, and J.S. Lenore. We're going to be talking writing at 3 p.m. So if you're at Indie PopCon, please come see us. Go to popcon.us for more information and to purchase tickets. It's going to be at the Indianapolis Convention Center, downtown Indianapolis. It's going to be a good time. And also, 1 week from this coming Sunday, I will be at the Pulp Fiction Convention at the Doubletree by Hilton Cleveland in Westlake, Ohio. It's going to be pulp magazines, new and old. You're going to get to meet Charles F. Milhouse, the award winner himself. Also, the great Jim Beard, John C. Bruning will be there from Flinch Books. I will be there with my publications and hanging out with my friends. Probably have my award with me, so please come see it. You can't touch it, it's mine. But anyway, we're going to have comic books. We're going to have books, magazines, all kinds of memorabilia from the pulp era. That's at 1100 Crocker Road in Westlake, Ohio. So please come see us. Admission is $5, and anyone who is 6 or younger comes in with a paid admission gets in for free. So please come check it out. And Ace Bounty says the Rising Tide newsletter is awesome. Thank you, Ace. I appreciate that. Thank you. The new issue went out yesterday at 5:15, but if you go to risingtide.pub, there is a tab there where you can sign up and get aboard the mailing list there. We promise not to give away or sell or rent your name. I promise. But anyway, also, if you want to find out what's going on with us, check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/Brian K. Morris. Our Patreon supporters keep the Rising Tide flowing. And we have a twice weekly blog that everyone gets regardless of their support level. And for $5 and more, you get to read my first draft flash novels. And we just finished serializing the first draft of The Terrors that will be out in a couple of months. And right now we are going to start in June Volcana 2, the Prometheus frame-up. And I'm really excited about that. But if you want to see your name on this card with some other cool people, and also in the pages of The Terrors, then check us out at patreon.com/Brian K. Morris. We also want to thank our sponsors for tonight, Rising Tide Publications. Again, look out for The Terrors, a great adventure novel set in the golden age of comics, coming out in a couple of months. And also want to thank our ongoing sponsor, Plasma Fire Graphics. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you.
You've worked hard and written a great book. Now, it's time to give it a great cover. If you're an indie author or small press publisher, Plasma Fire Graphics is your source for affordable cover illustration and graphic design. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you.
Check out Plasma Fire Graphics page on Facebook and also plasmafiregraphics.com on the interwebs. Check those out and ask about the great rates they've got there. Independent creator-friendly rates, and get Plasma Fire Graphics on the front of your publication today. That's Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you, because it definitely matters to your readers. And we will be back next week with another episode of Comic Book Spectrum. And let's see. Oh, what did I hit that? Anyway, wrong one. I was going to mute everybody here. Anyway, Why, you little. Anyway, fiend. Anyway, we're going to say goodbye now, and we will be back next week with another episode of Comic Book Spectrum with some great reviews. I'll be back tomorrow morning on Nevermind the Furthermore at 10 a.m. Please come see me there. And as always, folks, thank you for being here. Please spread the word about us. We can always use more comic readers and friends here. And as always, stay smart, stay safe, wash your hands, and never apologize for being awesome. We'll see you next week on Comic Book Spectrum. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Comic Book Spectrum, a Rising Tide Broadcast Network production. Please join us next week for another look at comics, past, present, and future. If you enjoyed this, please give the show a like and be sure to subscribe and share it with your friends. To receive our free monthly newsletter, go to www.risingtide.pub and be sure to give the Rising Tide Broadcast Network page on Facebook a like in order to receive news about upcoming shows including Clever Title Pending, Stupid O'Clock, Clever as Hail, Comics Chaos and Sass, Tidbits and Scribbles, the Historical Fencing Guild, and Nevermind the Furthermore. See you next week.